Gross. Good morning. It's real boring out here in the streets. So I'm like, let me try to go live earlier. Because I have some things to do today. Absolutely do. My daughter's birthday is on Monday. Wait, or is it Sunday? Sunday. And she's hanging out with her really good Judy. She wants to hang out in a hotel and chill and all of that stuff with her siblings too. She wants her brothers and sisters to come. I'm like, oh, you're so sweet, because they was coming anyway. So, yeah. So we got all that this weekend. So I'm gonna have a very busy weekend, but I will be live, because they'll be at the hotel. Mom Dukes will be there with them. Their mom will be there. So yeah, I'm popping in, popping out. Popping in, popping out. Correct. Popping in, popping out, popping in, popping out. So I will be popping back out on live. So y'all still see me this weekend, but yeah. So I have a very busy weekend. It's my baby birthday. She's turning 16. Oh my gosh, she's turning 16. That's how I call her like every day. I call her every day like, I'm like, oh my God, you're turning a wee. No, wee, no. So it's like, oh my God, 2 more years. And she's not a baby anymore. I'm so excited for her. But yeah, she got head on her shoulder. She's such a good person. She's already like a little woman. So very like mommy-esque, like already. She be telling all of us what to do. Me included. Like she always trying to call me and tell me what to do. I'd be like, can you get on, please? That I pay for? Like, hello? Like, say she literally, like she'll call me, she'll be like, so did you do this? Well, did you grab that? Okay, well, make sure that that baby brother is. Get off my phone. Because if you, I don't need to come. Come take care of all this. I'm like, you got your nerve. So she's already like super responsible, and all of that like planner. That's the plan. Everything has to be planned to the T. To the T. So yeah. So shout out to her, my little woman. Love her, my baby. So yeah, so shout out to all of you. Welcome, good morning. Hello, Green Ice, Baby Shay, Kia, Rhonda, Creole, Caitlin, Cindy, JB, LaRon. Oh my God, I love you, LaRon. So yeah, shout out to Potent Pondering. JB, hi boo. Hi babes. Melanie Rip. LaDonna, I like your name. Um, Girl, why is your camera lagging, honey? No, why is your camera lagging, girl? I mean, girl, Black Sheep Calissa. Oh, I like that. That's pretty. Loto babes. Danny. Hi, babes. What's a Beauty's house? Miss Lillian. Melinda. Lady K. Hi, babe. Tina. Hey, boo. Okay, now this is my nightmare. This is my nightmare. Yes. I got it right. I did, girl. Oh, if I got it wrong, Calissa, girl. Oh well, Calissa. Hello, Calissa, girl. I love you. A cake so sweet, hi boo, girl. See, this is why I said this would be my nightmare. This is this is my nightmare. So, girl, I love you guys. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. Absolutely, please hit the like. So we're gonna be talking today about Naziah Harris in her story. She born and raised, I believe, in Detroit, Michigan, and some horrible things happened, and we're going to discuss them. Trigger warning beforehand, okay? Remember this, hi boo. Here y'all go. Y'all go. So yeah, so we're definitely gonna be talking about this situation. I know that these topics can be really tough to talk about. I know they can be really tough to talk about, but these are necessary conversations. Okay, this is a necessary story because these stories don't get enough light. They need a lot of light, because when we talk about these things, excuse me, when we talk about these things, there are people that are actually going through them, right? And people like us are very helpful. So when we talk about things like this, if it's somebody going through something like this right now, and they see how much love that y'all giving in the chat and how much support y'all giving, and then see the content creators giving love and support and whatnot, it helps them. It really does. It helps them out a lot. So, like with coping, with dealing with even coming out and telling their story themselves, reporting it, it helps with a lot of those things. So, yeah, I think these conversations are very necessary. Now, of course, Naziah's story is more so of a viral story. It has been going around a lot. There are a lot of people giving the traction that it deserves. And shout out to all of those content creators that have been talking about Naziah and her story. I think it's a wonderful thing that y'all are doing it. I've seen people like Nick at Night, Pondering, so many others that have been covering the story, and I think it's wonderful. I really do. So shout out to all of you, and shout out to everyone that's been following the story too, because it's necessary. It really is necessary. So if you don't know about Naziah Harris, Naziah Harris was 13 years old when she was announced missing last year in January, 2024. And she was last seen, I believe, getting off the bus, getting on or off the bus, and she kind of just vanished after that. And then certain information came forward, and we learned that not only was her alleged, because I don't see why people, he wasn't her stepfather. So, I mean, stepfather, uncle, sorry, not stepfather, uncle. He wasn't her uncle. So, I mean, I understand I guess, because of the aunt dating him. And then I hear that he was supposed to be like a brother of one of the, we'll get into it. We have the whole story here. So, okay, because the story is heavy. You know, it's heavy. It's a lot of energy. So I want to get through the hard part so that we can get to what we need to get to. So hold on, let me start off with this first. I'm going to give y'all a little bit better of a background, and then I can jump into the story. Yeah, so we'll do that first. Is this the video? Is this the video? Okay. So yeah, this happened in Detroit. This is a big story there now. Here it is right here.
The details are still up in the air, and residents have a lot of questions. CBS News Report's Terrell Bailey explains.
Bailey, don't explain nothing to us. Thank you, though. Don't explain nothing to us. Okay, I'm just going to pull up her story, CBS. Because I would like to do it like this, because they have the tea, and then I'll give you all the whole breakdown. I have the whole timeline, all of the events and all of that. So, but there are some people that don't know the story. They're not familiar, so... Here. Okay, sorry. Alrighty then. Okay, this commercial needs to hurry up.
And special financing and low monthly payment options are available. Call or go online now to request your free quote. Power your life with Generac.
Now to Wayne County, where witness testimony started today in the murder case of a missing teenager, Naziah Harris.
The 13-year-old left for school last January but never came home, and her body has never been found. Jarvis Butts is charged with her murder. Our Jack Spring joins us now live from outside the 36th District Court in downtown Detroit with more on what happened in court today. Jack?
Well, like you both mentioned, Naziah's body was never found after going missing nearly a year ago, January 9th, 2024 to be exact. Now, police documents as well as earlier testimony gave us a better idea of why Jarvis Butts is the one charged with her murder. Now, phone records allege that Naziah and Butts had an inappropriate relationship. Butts is the father of 5 of the 13-year-old cousins whom she lived with up until she disappeared. Court documents claim Butts learned Naziah was pregnant in November of 2023, roughly 2 months before she went missing. According to her aunt, who has 5 children with Butts, she never noticed any sort of relationship outside the typical uncle-niece interactions. She was aware that Naziah would periodically help Butts at his auto shop along with Butts' eldest daughter.
When did Naziah and Jarvis first meet?
When she was little, like age 2.
And can you kind of describe the relationship between Naziah and Jarvis?
Should be just the uncle and the niece relationship, no more than that.
Now, Naziah's grandmother, Annette Harris, testified that she remembers dropping off Naziah at school the morning of January 9th last year before searching around the neighborhood and the school area when Naziah never returned home. While she searched the neighborhood in Detroit, Talisha Moore remembers seeing Naziah that afternoon in Ypsilanti with Butts and his business partner, who testified back in November, Cordell Wright. They were at her home to drop off her mother's car. While she didn't realize who Naziah was at that time, she eventually found out it was her when police knocked on the door much later.
Well, it was based on when the detectives came to the house to question us. That's when I found out who she was.
But at the time on the 9th, you didn't know?
And we heard from 8 witnesses today, but that is just the beginning. We're expecting another full day of witness testimony to get started tomorrow. I'll bring you all the updates here starting at 10 o'clock when those testimonies get started. But for now, reporting live outside the 36th District Courthouse here in Detroit, I'm Jack Springate, CBS News, Detroit.
All right, Jack, thank you for those details.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. That was nice of you. So that's like the basis of this story. Ooh, Lord. Sorry, Ravens. We're not here for you guys. So that's the basis of the story. Naziah, she went missing, and then we found out that her aunt's husband / they were married, I believe, because both of their last name is Harris. No. Her last name is Harris and her aunt's last name is Harris, but his last name is Butts. So let's start from the beginning, shall we? Let's start from the beginning. All right. Now, Jarvis Butts accused of S-ing and unaliving Detroit teen. Now, here's the timeline, so we'll do this. So the background. On January 9th, 2024, 13-year-old Naziah Harris got off the school bus in the area of Cornwall Street and 3 Mile, which is near the intersection of Warren Avenue and Outer Drive on Detroit's east side. She was never seen again. Naziah's grandmother said she started getting concerned when she learned she didn't get home that night, but waited until morning January 10th to report her missing to authorities. Now, that's a red flag right there, because why would you wait until the next day for a 13-year-old to come home? No. That does not make any sense. Why are we wait? She's 13. Excuse me. What are we waiting for? Was that her pattern? Was she normally out all night at 13 years old? What are we waiting for? Now, I can get you the next morning from maybe like a 16-year-old or 7-year-old, because they get, they out hanging out in the night and stuff. So that I would be like, okay, well, she wait till the next morning, because sometimes, instead of calling the police and all of that stuff, they just be hanging out or fell asleep at a friend's house or something like that, But a 13-year-old, I would call the police immediately. I'm not waiting. I'm not waiting for a goddamn thing. I want y'all to know that I noticed that my child was missing immediately. Not that it took me to the next day and all that. Like, you going to lay your head in your bed knowing that a 13-year-old ain't there? Weird. Sarah says it was reported that the grandma was also sleeping with Jarvis. I agree. Nika Knight is deep dive into that twisted ass family. Yes, shout out to Nika Knight. Love her. I did hear that. On the same day Naziah went missing, Jarvis Butts was scheduled to turn himself into the authorities for a GUN charge. However, this was pushed back to February. The court hearing lasted days, and the judge determined that there was enough evidence for the Detroit man to stand trial. Why Jarvis Butts was charged. Before getting into details about what happened in court, here's what we know about why Butts was charged. Prosecutors said Butts was supposed to turn himself in to authorities on a GUN charge on January 9th, 2024, the day Naziah went missing. But the date was pushed back to February. Harris allegedly met up with Butts that day, which would be Naziah, and the two reportedly went to, what is it, Salante? Before returning back to Detroit, where Butts checked into a motel. Records texts show that Butts knew Harris was pregnant and that he began searching online about option pills and drinking red antifreeze. Okay. Now, we do have the text thread, and I'm going to read the text threads that Naziah had with him, and they are very disturbing. But he did know that she was pregnant, so he cannot state that he didn't know she was pregnant. He knew. I think the reason why, even still to this day, her body has not been found is because there are more charges that will stem. There's no actual proof, like a pregnancy test or anything like that, to state that Naziah was pregnant. So if they find her body, they will know that she was pregnant and that the baby was killed as well. So those are more charges, okay? This is why I feel like he won't tell where her body is. This is why Jarvis will not state where it is, because he didn't just end her life, he ended in a baby too. You know, so that's a whole nother can of worms. Yes, drinking red antifreeze. Yes, getting her to drink red antifreeze to get rid of the pregnancy, like crazy. So I think yeah, double homicide. I think that's why he won't state where she is, because I have seen that online. People just like, well, I just don't know why he won't tell where the body is. You know that he did it. You know, blah blah blah. It's not that. If it was just her, if she wasn't pregnant and he decided to end her life, then I think that, yeah, why wouldn't he say? But since he knew that she was pregnant, and I think that this proves that she was pregnant because he won't say where she is. Please hit the like, please hit the like, please hit the like. Authorities believe Butts had been SAing Harris since 2022, before ending her life in January 2024. Prosecutors said he had a history of targeting and befriending women to get close to SA their daughters. Now, I have to say this. I have to. Jarvis has been charged with 2 other young girls. One was 4 years old, and that 4-year-old even transmitted chlamydia. That I'm like, are you a 4-year-old? I thought, oh my God. Like, that broke my heart when I heard that. I'm like, no way, a 4-year-old. What the f is wrong with you? Kill him. You need to die. You need to die. A 4-year-old. Wow. And you were let back on the streets? A 4-year-old baby. That's a baby. Like a literal baby. And he was also charged, I believe, 11-year-old. I think LaRon said that in chat, 11-year-old. So the aunt knew. You knew. Okay? And the 11-year-old, that was his child, right? His own daughter. His own kid. It don't get worse than your own child. There's no lower than that. Doesn't get lower. Because I'm feeling like this. If he was doing this to a 4-year-old, he's done it to younger. The authorities state that they believe that the SA between Naziah and Jarvis started when between 2022 and feeling like she was between 11 years old when it first started to 13. I don't believe that. I believe it started around the time she was 2. She met him when she was 2 years old. That's when he came around her. So you mean to tell me that if a 4-year-old had chlamydia because of him, you want me to think that it started with Naziah at 11? No. No. It started way before that. It had to have. I don't believe he had a limit. He was probably doing it to infants. Because it was, 5 kids in that house? And he assaulted his own child. Okay, I'm sorry. I got a phone call. Yeah. So who knows when did it actually start? Who knows? And it's 5 kids total that been around him. So who knows when it started? But my thing is, he capable of this type of stuff. So why would you allow him to be around your kids? Why would you allow that? And then you hear these things happen in Naziah and happen to Naziah, and y'all want to make it seem as if y'all had no idea. All we saw was a typical uncle-niece relationship. Bullshit. You're lying. Y'all knew what was going on. Y'all turned a blind eye to it. And that's what also makes me believe that it's a possibility that the grandmother was sleeping with Jarvis too. Because why does she wait till the next day to report Naziah? Because you didn't care about her. You didn't care. Probably was jealous of her in certain ways because she's getting attention from this person that has everyone warped. He done came in here and just effed up everything. And it probably been going on for so long that everybody just got used to it. And it didn't get dangerous until, because Naziah, 13 years old, being pregnant, because someone's going to find out that the baby was his eventually. They were going to figure it out. That the baby was his. She's 13 years old. She's really not going places, and the places that you do go is around certain people, Jarvis being one of them. You got to put 2 in them. Once you finally do, it's going to equal 4. And 4 would equal Jarvis. So I believe everybody in the house knew what was going on. And the proof is that even the cousin that testified, she said that Jarvis tried to put the moves on her too. So and then also testified to hearing Jarvis having sex with Naziah. Hearing them sleeping together. So she was either 11, 12, 13, and then who knows if Naziah met him at 2 years old? Who knows when it started? Who knows? So yeah, this is heavy. This is heavy. It absolutely is. It's not only the SA case Butts is involved in. He also have been charged for reportedly SAing 2 young girls. Oh, sorry, went too far. Girls, as well as a conviction for sexual assault in 2005. Prosecutors call Butt a serial child apist, a serial child rapist, SA'd an 8-year-old family member and a girlfriend's 4-year-old daughter who reportedly caught chlamydia from the assault. Okay? There are a lot of men out here that will get on these dating apps and only date women that have children. And this is what they do when they come around you. This is what they do. They target your kids. So you have to be careful of who you bring around. Now, when someone's not charged with something, I think it's a little harder to determine that, because, you don't know until you know. You don't know until you know. So if they don't have that on their background, like they've done this before, but just haven't got caught, you don't know until you know. So, uh, uh, but with this situation, I feel like with the aunt, you knew everything you needed to know. You knew his background. You knew that he had did certain things to other people already, even his own kids. Why would you allow this person into your home and pursue them in a way to where you're having children with him well, and then leaving them around innocent children like your nieces and stuff? Why would you do that? This is why I do feel like charges need to be brought up on the family members too. Charges need to be brought up on the aunt, and charges need to be brought up on the grandmother, because both of them, that is neglect. Just to leave these kids, and y'all are allowing an 11-year-old, 12-year-old, 13-year-old to leave the house with this man and go to the body shop that he owned and whatnot. Why would you let him be alone with them at all, knowing his history, knowing his past? Why would you allow that? You allowed that to happen, but you want to take no accountability for it. This is your fault. Your fault. Naziah was a kid. She doesn't know better. She didn't know any better. And y'all didn't teach her any better either. And you couldn't have loved her, because if you did, why was Naziah at school requesting to talk to a counselor before talking to one of y'all? Why would she talk to y'all about it? Y'all already know. And y'all not doing anything about it. A loved child would say something about abuse before one that does not feel love, that doesn't feel. The crazy part about this is her predator loved her more than y'all. Her predator showed her more love and respect than y'all. That's why she confided in him and bent to his will, because she felt like he loved her. So she was feeling that from y'all, loving on her, appreciating her, caring about her. If y'all were doing that, then just like the cousin, she would have said no. She wouldn't have allowed him to do any of those things to her. And she didn't know any better. But y'all didn't teach her either. Y'all didn't teach her nothing. Y'all allowed those things to happen. You allowed them. You did nothing to stop it. And then looking at it like, oh, he just care about her? No, he don't. With his history? No, he don't. I don't want to let him near her. Near any of my kids. That's super out on because like, wow. This is why backgrounds matter. They do. Judging a book by its cover sometimes is useful. It's useful. Because then you can prevent all this type of stuff. He was charged on September 27th, 2024 as a habitual fourth-time offender. So this man done a 4-year-old, an 8-year-old, an 11-year-old. But nobody thought that their relationship was inappropriate. No one thought that Naziah and Jarvis's relationship was inappropriate. It was just an uncle and niece. Bull. Y'all knew that there was more. You knew it. Butts was charged with first-degree premeditated murder, child abuse material, second-degree criminal sexual conduct, and a person under 13. Now, as you see, there is no charge for the alleged infant that she was pregnant with, the fetus, or whatever. There is no charge for that because they have not found her body. There's no proof that she was pregnant. Even in Naziah's text messages, she was assuming she was pregnant because her cycle did not come, her period didn't happen, and she was worried. I think that Naziah was probably a decent, probably 4 or 5 months, maybe pregnant. If she was pregnant, I don't think that it was she just found out, like she was a couple weeks. Like, no, I don't think it was that. I think it was further along than that. And she was young. So other women, like I feel like women that are older, like they know. Kind of like they just like know. It's like, okay, I think I'm pregnant. Like I think I'm pregnant. I think Naziah was just kind of like looking things up and stuff. Because again, she's 13 years old. Why should she have to be looking up, pregnancy symptoms and how long can you go without your cycle coming to and still not be pregnant. You know, it's like, so she looking up stuff. She don't know. Like, she should have had to. That young, at 13, be looking up stuff like that. Like, that's crazy. Um, you know, everybody failed her. Everyone failed her. Um, just this poor girl. I'm like, wow. A preliminary examination was held on January 6, 2025 for a judge to decide if there was enough evidence for Butts to head to trial. Within those 4 to 5 days of the hearing testimonies, local evidence were revealed in court that wasn't shown before. Disgusting text messages revealed in court. Sergeant Shannon Jones, the officer in charge of the investigation into Naziah's disappearance, read countless text messages exchanged between Butts and Harris from 2022 and to the day she disappeared. For context, Harris was 11 to 12 years old in 2022. Crazy. Most of the text messages were sexually explicit. True. Fact. Discussing times where the two would meet up for Butts to SA her, as well as the 42-year-old man allegedly asking Harris for naked photos and to perform sexual acts on him. The text messages also revealed Naziah told Butts she missed her period and talked about her pregnancy. Butts allegedly acknowledged her missing her period by telling her to get a pregnancy test. Now, she was hitting him up. She was nervous. She was just like, I think I haven't got my period still. But she had already taken a pregnancy test. And the pregnancy test, due to the text messages, when he replied to her, Jarvis, when he replied to her, I'm assuming that first test was negative because that's what he was alluding to. And she was saying that she needed another one. So he told her to go get one. And her being 13, she's like, I'm broke. You know, like, I don't have any money. This is when I think that he started to plot. This is when, that was a different time, okay. This is when I think he started to plot. When she was just like, look, I need a pregnancy test. And there's more signs because, again, she went to school and asked to talk to the guidance counselor. And I think that she wanted to talk to the guidance counselor about being pregnant. I don't think that she wanted to talk to the guidance counselor and tell her who she was pregnant by. I don't think she had any intention of telling on Jarvis because she never did, all the way until she passed away. So I don't think that that's why she wanted to talk to them. I think that she wanted advice about being pregnant and whatnot. See-Through says, I think she was ready to tell her the truth. I really don't think so. I really don't feel that way. I don't. I think that she loved him. I do. I think that poor young lady, Naziah, was in love with Jarvis. And I think that she would do whatever she needed to do to protect him. Look at her aunt. Her aunt is doing the same thing. Her aunt is still low-key protecting him this day. And she was protecting him then. So, yeah, I don't think, because in her mind, she's 13, you know. You can't tell her what to do. You could try, but she's still going to do what she want to do. And I think that he tricked her, you know, into thinking that he loved her. And she wasn't feeling that anywhere else. She couldn't have been because she would have made a lot of those decisions that she had made. But she didn't know better. I mean, she's literally a kid. And you only know what you're being introduced to. So he was introducing her to this at a young age. To her, that could have been her normal. You know, like, well, this is normal, you know, for us to do this type of stuff together. And there's somebody telling her that it's wrong. There's somebody telling her that even if somebody was stopping the relationship, like putting a halt on it, that is enough to let you know that something's wrong. So if the grandmother was like, yeah, you ain't going to no shop down there with him by yourself, or if the aunt was like, yeah, no, you ain't going to no shop down there, no, y'all ain't going to no shop, no, hire some male help. Why you keep having females coming down there doing men should be doing any goddamn way? You know, so if that would have been enough for her to be like, I wonder why they feel like it's a problem that we, you know, because to her, in her mind, she's not thinking that it's an issue. And what they have going on is the fact of him telling her that she can't tell anybody, you know, keeping it a secret. Not a secret because this is extremely bad. Keeping it a secret because he didn't want her aunt to find out. So I think that that's what she was keeping a secret for, not the secret and like, oh, this is so wrong. He could go to jail. He could spend so much time behind bars and all this stuff. People find out. I don't think it had anything to do with that. I think that he was keeping her quiet so that the family didn't find out about what they had going on. So her going to talk to the guidance counselor, in my honest opinion, I feel like it was just to talk about the pregnancy. Because who else was she supposed to talk to about it besides Jarvis? Who else could she talk about it with? So I think that that's what she was going to talk about. Maybe even some help getting a pregnancy test, or something like that. In that regard, I really don't feel like she was about to go into the office and sit down and tell on Jarvis, because she would have. Although she didn't meet with the guidance counselor that day, she didn't. She could have told somebody else. She didn't tell anyone. If the information coming out was more so of the cousin and text messages, not Naziah herself. She didn't literally tell an adult what was happening to her. She didn't, because she felt like she was in love. You know, like, this is my boy, like, this is my man. You know, not like this bae. You know, not this my uncle, or, you know, like, and he tricked her. I do. I think he groomed her into believing that what they were experiencing was a consensual, loving relationship. Correct. So yeah, I don't think she had any intention of telling on him. No. Maybe after the pregnancy, maybe if she would have had the baby, I feel like that is possible. Maybe she would have came forward with the truth. Growing up a little bit more, experienced and a little bit more. Again, she was only 13, you know. She's only 13 years old, so there's still a lot of the world that she didn't know. And you're really naive at those times. And yeah, I just feel really bad for her. Please hit the like, please hit the like, please hit the like. Tina said the text messages were sick. Yes. So trigger when I read the text messages. Talking to him like she was my age and I'm 28. Yes. But that's how he taught her. He groomed her into that type of speaking and sending pictures, and, you know, how to send the pictures and what to send, and, you know, all of that, and pressuring her even into having sex with him. You know, it wasn't more so of her pursuing it. It was him, and she would do what she needed to do. She would oblige him to keep him feeling good, you know, to have a worth when it came to him, because that was her worth. She couldn't provide anything else. So yeah, I think that he taught her how, because she's 13. Where else did she learn this? Like, where did she learn this from? Him, you know? So yeah, I was taken aback when I was like, wow, like, it's a 13-year-old saying this stuff. Wow. After Butts learned of Harris' pregnancy, he allegedly searched online for options from December 8th through December 11th. He allegedly searched for information about abortion pills on Planned Parenthood's website numerous times, as well as searching for over-the-counter abortion medications. He also looked at websites about herbal tea advertising, yes, and as an abortion method. So what I'm thinking is because if he had a job, he owned a shop, or owned a shop, or auto body shop. If he wanted to take her to get an abortion, he would have took her to do that. I think because she never looked, this is another thing I feel like needs to be pointed out too. Naziah wanted to have the baby. Naziah wanted to have the baby. From what I'm gathering from those text messages, Naziah was not asking about abortion or getting rid of the kid or going to Planned Parenthood, or she was not discussing anything like that. She was talking about getting a pregnancy test because she wanted to see if she was. So I feel like Naziah wanted to have the baby. I don't feel like Naziah wanted to get rid of it. Her being 13, young, naive, I think she loved him. She wanted to have his baby. She did. And I think that him doing these searches and whatnot, he was doing them without her knowledge. She did not know that he wanted to get rid of the baby. When they met up and he was trying to get her to get rid of the child, I feel that there was arguments and he ended up killing her. That's what I feel. I really don't feel like he was trying to end her life. I don't feel that way. I think that he wanted to get rid of the baby. That was what he wanted to do. He wanted to keep her, and I feel like he would have kept doing what he was doing to her. But she disagreed about getting rid of the child. She did, and I don't think that because when they found her and whatnot, they said that it wasn't anything like more so of like foul play. Well, not found her, but found her belongings. There was like no blood or anything that would say like a struggle or anything like that. So I think that he put her belongings there. I don't think that the area they found her stuff, I don't think that that is where he took her life. I don't think so. I think it was at a whole nother location, and I think the location was near the motel. But I don't think it was at the motel either, because there's plenty of ways of figuring it out if it would have happened in that room. And it's been over a year. So I think that he put a bunch of stuff like antifreeze and stuff like that, like because he was researching red antifreeze, blue antifreeze, like he was researching it. And I think that he had her in that motel and they were drinking and whatnot, probably something like that. And he, drugged her, poisoned her, and took her body and buried her. So I think, what if she wasn't even gone? I mean, at this point, it was like, what if he buried the poor girl alive, or something like that? Because, yeah, I just don't feel like she agreed with getting rid of the baby. I don't think she wanted to. I think she wanted to keep the baby. And I don't think that it was like a super violent passing. I don't. I think that he poisoned her. Because why would he be looking all of that stuff up? Why would he be looking up Planned Parenthood, and all of why? So the baby had to go in his eyes. But Naziah didn't. But since she didn't want to give up that baby, I think that it may have cost her her life, which was stupid. Stupid. Evidence found near where Naziah disappeared, Naziah's clothing. An inside-out pink jumpsuit, a black jacket, and red and black shoe were found near the intersection of 7 Mile and Berg by a U.S. Border Patrol officer who testified he and his team were searching the river near the intersection in relation to Naziah's disappearance. He testified the clothing he had testified the clothing he found had not been there for a long period of time. And there was no discoloration in the clothing or no evidence of animals getting into it. He described the clothing looked fresh. So it gives that. I feel like he that poor girl. I feel like he tricked her like out of her clothes and stuff, and whatnot. And I think that's how he got the clothes to not be damaged. I do think that he placed the clothes out there because, as they say, no discoloration when things sit outside for a while, like rain and rain and stuff like that. Nonsense says I thought he powed her. Well, her body hasn't been found, so we don't know how she passed. But since finding the clothing, and the clothing had the clothing that she was missing in, that's the last outfit that she was seen in. The inside-out pink jumpsuit, a black jacket, and a red and black shoe were found near the intersection 7 Mile and Berg. That was her last description of clothing, from what I read. So with that being freshly placed there, I don't feel like he. I mean, and if so, maybe she had on different clothing. If he did pow her, if he did, maybe she had on different clothing at the time, because the clothing that they found, again, no foul play, no struggle, is what the officer said. He said that it looked fresh, like it was freshly placed there, because, again, if it was sitting outside for days or months or weeks, then there would have been discoloration. There would have been damage due to like rain and other stuff. Like it would have been discolored in some way. Like if the clothes I got on right now, taking them off and going to set them outside right now, they're gonna be fresh. So yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I do think that he buried her. I don't think that she's in the river, because if she was, I feel like they would have found her already. It's been a whole year. Shout out to Tina. Thank you so much for gifting a membership. And thank you so much, Tina. I do feel like she's not in the river because they would have found her. It's easier to find a body in water than it is being buried. That's why I think hasn't been found, because he did bury her somewhere. And I think he's not burying her. I will say that, because even the weather can cause bodies that have been buried, if they're not buried deep enough, to show, to come out, or parts of them to come out of the grave if it's a shallow grave. So I do think that he buried her properly wherever he ended up burying her. I do think that it will take him, in order to find her body, if it's been a year, which is at this point January, it's been a year. I do think that that Jarvis would have to say where she is, because he buried her, and it's harder to find someone buried when you have no idea where they are. And he had plenty of time. Remember, this is why I feel like the grandmother and them was in on it and may have had something to do with it, and why I feel like charges need to be brought up, because the grandmother did not file or call the police until the following morning. So he had plenty of time to disperse of her. Plenty of time to get rid of her. Plenty of time. He had the whole day, pretty much, to get rid of her. He didn't have to rush. He didn't have to do any of that. Because why would you not report her missing right away? She's 13 years old. Why would you not report her missing right away? What do you mean I waited till them? What the fuck are you waiting for? You report her, because if they would have reported her right away, then I feel like he would have been able to make more mistakes. So this is what gives to where I feel the premeditation came in, like he had multiple plans. I think that he was like, if she do it on her own, we good, you know what I'm saying? Then we'll just go back. But if she don't, then I'm gonna do this. So I do think that there was a premeditation, but I don't think that was the true intention, like right away. But when she decided to say no to getting rid of that kid, then he took his second plan into effect, and that was getting rid of her and the baby, all together. So he had plenty of time to get rid of her. So who knows where she is? He could have drove to a whole nother city. He could have drove to a whole nother state. He had plenty of time. That poor girl could be anywhere. She could be anywhere. Because he had plenty of time to get away with it and to cover his tracks, to get rid of evidence. He had plenty of time to do all of that. And who knows? I feel like maybe the aunt helped. I don't feel like the grandma did, but maybe the aunt went out there and helped them. I don't know if the grandmother waited. Did the grandmother wait because the daughter went and met up with him, so that they could get rid of her body, and whatnot? He called the aunt in a panic. Check her phone records. Did they talk that night? What they're talking about? Like, check. Come on, because it's more to this. Because this does not add up. It doesn't. Why did you wait until the following morning to report it? When he gave you the thumb up? When he thumbs up, like, all right, cool. Now y'all can say she gone. Because they had to report her. If they didn't report her, then we would for sure know that they had something to do. Because how does 13-year-old girl go missing and just don't nobody say nothing? Nobody say nothing. No one. So, yeah, they had to, so that they could get rid of the breadcrumbs coming back to them, and it being a possibility that, they had something to do with it, which that is still there. That outline, it's not gone. Naziah's grandmother and aunt knew what happened to her. Naziah's aunt and grandmother know where she is. They know where her body is. They do. I believe that they know where she is. At least the aunt. If the grandmother doesn't know, the aunt knows. She knows where. She does. I do not believe that they don't know where she is. Yes, they do. They know. So, yeah. A woman, Naziah's school ID. A woman said on March 7th, 2024, that she found Naziah's school ID on the sidewalk near her home on 7 Mile and Evergreen. She testified during the preliminary hearing on January 7, 2025, that she stepped over the ID for 2.5 weeks from a nearby bus stop before deciding to pick it up. So I think that wasn't nothing but God with that ID dropping right there, because those are hints and clues about where she was last seen. So that is helpful. and finding that out. She got picked up from that bus stop, and he knew her route. He knew where she got off the bus. He knew. So he picked her up from that bus stop, already had got a motel, and they went on their way. He took her right there, and there's no cameras in that area right there. So it was like a blind spot. So no one knows where she went besides knowing that she definitely got off the bus because that's where her school ID had been on the ground. So that was the verification, and other people stating that they saw her on the bus. But there is no witness to come forward and state that Naziah got into a car. So I don't think that she got into the car right away. I think maybe he got her attention like a couple seconds after she got on the bus, and then the bus went, and then she went to approach him, because no witness thus far has come forward and say, yeah, I saw her get into this kind of car or blah blah blah. No one said that from the bus. So I don't think that he was literally sitting at the bus stop, maybe adjacent or something like that, to where people didn't necessarily pay much attention to him. So let's keep going. When she picked up the ID that was face down, she recognized the girl's name because she had heard about her disappearance on the news. She took the bus to a local gas station to put the ID on a lid to prevent any more fingerprints. Called the police. That was very smart. But bound over for trial. We may never know what happened, but from what I heard today and over the last 4 to 5 days, it appears he intended to perform what he thought was a do-it-yourself abortion on Naziah and went south. And instead of seeking medical attention for her, he intentionally her and tried his best to cover it up. Okay, so there was some type of poisoning that happened to Naziah, and I think that he freaked out because she was probably maybe had went into a seizure, or something like that. Who knows? You would have had to have been there, and I think he freaked out. And now, if she was powed, maybe that's when he did. If she was, if a weapon was used, if a GUN was used, maybe that's when he did it. When she was screaming or really loud, or something like that. I don't know, but that is very sad. But he definitely wanted to get rid of that baby, and whether he had to do it or not. Shout out to LaRon. LaRon says, Sean, emphasis on the aunt and grandmother not being visibly emotional. The Erdoer sister took the stand and was in because she'd seen at the shop that family didn't love Naziah. I think that they're not having emotion, LaRon, because they didn't like her. I feel like they're not having emotion because they are complicit. They are involved. And I think it's hard to have emotion when you are fearful of being caught. So the burden of being caught to them is way bigger than feeling for her when it's a dysfunctional household, when there's a lot of things that is going on that shouldn't be. So I think that they had love for her. They did not love her because they let her stay there. They fed her, to make sure she got back and forth to school. So there is some type of caring that is there. But the real ish, like protecting and checking in on and making sure, okay, none of that was happening. None of it. That's why I feel Naziah fell for him, because no one was giving her the love that she needed. And a lot of Black families, I think, are like that, that don't say, like, I love you to one another, that don't check in on each other mentally, ask the hard questions. A lot of them don't do that. They don't deal with actual issues going on in the home. It's kind of like don't ask, don't tell. And that's how I think the household worked. I think there was a lot of inappropriate things going on with a lot of relationships that shouldn't be happening. But I think that they're guilty. I think that the grandmother knows way more than what she's leading on to. And I think the aunt knows way more than what they're leading on to. I think at this point it's more so of them worrying about protecting themselves than, And they have to protect Jarvis in order to do so. So yeah, they'll go up there and be like, oh yeah, we think that he did it, and blah blah blah. And yeah, they were together, and she would go to the shop with him because that pushes the guilt off of them and pushes it onto him. I mean, he's locked up. He ain't going nowhere. Like you caught. It's like boom, they got you. But the charges that he needs to be charged with, which again, if they had her body, they could put all the charges, including double homicide for unaliving the fetus. They is scared. I think that they're afraid. I think they're afraid of getting caught. Husband and wives, boyfriend and girlfriends, when you're super close to someone, you confide. So you cannot convince me that Jarvis did not confide in the aunt. Yes, he did. She know where Naziah is. She knows. But I think that now, if anybody didn't like her, it was the aunt. I feel like the aunt was jealous of Naziah. I think she's sleeping with her man. She don't look at it as her niece being SA'd. She don't look at it that way. She look at it as in, she's sleeping with my man. So in that regard, she's going to protect her man. So instead of protecting her niece, the betrayer, because that's how she's looking at her niece, like she betrayed her. You betrayed me. You sleeping with my man. And then you have the audacity to be pregnant by him. How we know it wasn't the aunt idea for him to go get rid of that baby? I feel like the aunt knew that they were sleeping together. He told his girl that Naziah was pregnant, and the aunt told him to get rid of that damn baby. What other reason was he so gung-ho of getting rid of that baby for? Besides her, who he was with. If I'm with a female and I get another female pregnant, I don't want the baby because I don't want my girl to find out. I don't want my girl to have, my wife, have to know, or whoever. Like, we got a family, we already got kids and stuff. Now I'm having an outside baby, all this stuff. Like, no, this is the problem. This is an issue. So who's going to have a bigger problem with that? Who is he going to be more fearful of finding out than her? Who? So I believe that the aunt is way more complicit than she is leading on. So I think it's hard to have emotion for somebody that you don't like. She tolerated Naziah. Okay? It was a toleration. I do feel that way. I tolerating her, She's staying with us. She ain't got nowhere to go. It's a situation. But secretly hating her at the same time. Anybody sleeping with somebody that you with, you're going to be jealous, whether they're a family member or not. With the family member, it makes it more painful, But it's gonna hurt no matter what. It's your person sleeping with somebody else, they with somebody else, like that's hurt. That's painful. So, and it's hard not to be upset with both parties. It's hard not to be upset, even if the person don't know about you. It's still hard not to be mad at them. It's still hard not to be angry with them as well and not be jealous. So I think that that's more so what it was. I think that aunt way more than she is leading on. She can't convince me otherwise. He confided in her. He did. And I think she bought him some time because he was doing what was supposed to be done, which was getting rid of that baby. And the niece passing away, I think that information came later. I don't think the aunt maybe knew that right away. Maybe later on that night, or the following morning, or something like that. But she knew. Oh yeah, she knew about what happened to Naziah. Sean, the aunt went to court and filed support papers on Jarvis after the police visit, inquiring about the child's disappearance. Girl, wow. Telling you that aunt, I'm telling you, because how could you not be on that? I couldn't even speak if I was on that stand and I let that girl down like that. The man that I brought around her not only was violating her, but got her pregnant, poisoned her, killed her and her baby. Like, I would have been on that stand just Like, I mean, the ugly cry. The I could barely speak cry. That every time I try to say her name, I would have been a wreck on that stand because of my guilty conscience, like just feeling so guilty about not preventing this. And the aunt don't give that at all. The reason she don't give it is because she complicit. It's hard to feel that way about somebody you hate. The aunt feels like Naziah got what she deserved. The aunt feels that way. Because that's the only way she could sit there with her back straight, and all of that. Just like, all I saw was an uncle-niece relationship. Like, no, you didn't. You couldn't have if all of this was going on, because there are signs. There are things that you can see. Because even any relationship that's really close, it still needs to be checked in on. So if a brother and a sister are super close, check in on that relationship. This could be innocent. It could just be them just being super close, whatnot. Or this could have taken a turn for the worse. This could have ventured into something that it shouldn't be. So check on it instead of just assuming. No, don't assume. Make sure. He said he about to take this girl to the shop with him to work. Don't assume that that's what he's going to do. Go with them. Go check in. Just go pop up. You never know what you'll see, what's going to happen. So you always check on those things. But what does a 42-year-old, a 40-year-old, and an 11-year-old have to be getting close about? What do they have to be, honestly? Why are y'all so cool? And if it is innocent, test it. Make sure it is. Make sure that it is. If they talking on the phone or anything like that, check those text messages, all of that stuff. Be all up on it. You coming out the room and you see them two coming out the room at the same time, or what's this? Were y'all just like, you sure? Y'all, are you sure y'all was just hanging for what? You 40 years old, you coming out of an 11-year-old's room for? Why? What's in there that you need to be in there? You question it. None of that was being done. The cousin herself said that she heard Jarvis and Naziah having sex. How could the cousin hear it, but the aunt and the grandma not? That confuses me. He doing it in the house. It wasn't like he was taking her to other places, like this only happened at the shop, or he would take her to motel rooms, all that. No, it was right in the home. Even in her text messages, she said, "You bet not be in my room." Girl, clock that T. She said, "You bet not be in my room." So that means that he was just like hanging out in her room, that he would just be in there. So the uncle Pass, you don't find it weird that your nigga laying in your niece's room? You don't find that suspect? The grandma walking past, you see him sitting in her room. What is he in there for? He even said in the text messages as well that he has stole a pair of her panties. He said, "I stole a pair of your panties." Again, when he be in her room, y'all don't see him in there? Y'all don't see him? This ain't no mansion. This isn't a mansion. If she at school, why are you in her room? Why are you in there? What's in there for you? There's nothing in there for you to borrow. Nothing. Why are you in there? That's not enough for you to call it into question? But y'all said that there was no signs. Him taking her to the shop is a sign. And then he would take the older daughter too. He molested his own daughter. The daughter shouldn't have been around him either. Because who knows if he was doing it to both? Who knows what's going on here? Like, so for them to try to make it seem like that it wasn't that, it was just a normal niece and nephew relationship, or niece and uncle relationship, bullshit. You are lying through your teeth. Because even if, say they didn't know, right? Say they didn't know. With this happening, bells and alarms and things should just be going off in your mind to make you reminisce and make you think back like, you know what? when I saw this, or you know what? One time I could have sworn I saw him come out the bathroom when that girl was in the bathroom. Or I could have sworn I saw this. I could have sworn I heard her say this. I thought I heard like some type of moaning or something like that. Like it starts to make the mind wonder. They still sticking to their story. Nope, they was just an uncle and niece. Nothing to see here. That is a lie. That is like, yes. And then what he did to that 4-year-old alone, the aunt should have had nothing to do with him. Nothing. But that's what happens when your self-esteem is low. You'll deal with anybody to just be dealing. You'll deal with anyone. This was his track record. He will only date women so that the aunt should know right then and there that he wanted nothing to do with you. No, you were the conduit to get him into the door to do all of this. To come here and destroy these girls, these young girls, come here and destroy them was what he came here to do. He had no intention of being with you. You know what he won't. You ain't that. That. And I believe if he was sleeping with the grandmother too, it was for silence. Sleeping with her for silence. Her too, low self-esteem, older, set in her ways, whatnot. So I mean, for her to be allegedly sleeping with her own daughters, girl. Whew, let's keep going. Sabri, which is the judge, before her ruling, Sabri said she wanted to speak on behalf of Naziah, on the community that failed her. Sabri said based on what she heard in the last few days, several people failed her. She began listing family members and school officials accusing them of failing Naziah. I don't know where her mother is, Sabri continued. I don't know anything other than she was forced to live in a home where she was not protected or given attention and love. Agreed. I don't know who her father is. I don't have any mention of him in her life. No presence. All the men who saw Jarvis hanging out and always around these young girls, including Naziah and his 9-year-old daughter, going up to the shop to clean up, the school counselor who never showed up, or the person who was supposed to show up if that counsel was absent after Naziah was on the floor on that day she went missing, saying she needed to speak to someone and speak to the counselor. Now, I believe that Naziah was want to talk about her pregnancy. I don't think that she was going to say what happened to her. She pointed out that there was no mention of CPS and wondered about their involvement with them. She called Naziah's grandmother's testimony questionable. She understood her grandmother's testimony was used to establish where Naziah lived and her regular routine, and she understood she was not a runaway child. However, Sabri found it hard to believe that Butts never went to the home as the grandmother testified. So the judge feels like Naziah went home before she went missing, which is possible. I mean, again, we don't have any proof of anything. And Jarvis is not speaking, and neither is the family. Y'all saying I love the judge. I'm unbiased. I'm a realist. As far as I'm concerned, this judge shut the fuck up. Why, do you ask? Because she is one of the people that has the power to keep people like Jarvis in jail. He already did this to a 4-year-old. He did it to his own 9-year-old child. He did it to an 11 girl. If y'all kept him locked up, he wouldn't be able to do this shit. Y'all are the system. So don't sit there and name the schools and everybody else. Y'all are the people that put people away. Judge. Y'all the ones that could have kept him behind bars. You. Now, yes, Naziah's family's wrong, but let's not act like the system is not the biggest failure. Like, that's my thing. Like, please don't try to act holier than thou. Please don't. Imagine a person that could have helped keep this person behind bars after he gave a 4-year-old chlamydia, talking about who failed her. If y'all would have kept him locked up, he would have been able to do this to her. Please. It shouldn't take these black girls to thing. Because he was abusing black girls. That's why y'all kept letting him out. But let him have did this to a little white girl. He would have never did this again. It would have never happened again. So yeah, I ain't trying to hear that. Don't get me wrong. Right message, just wrong messenger. That's how I feel. Correct message. Yeah, right message. Mm, correct. Right message. Just not the right messenger. Ma'am, please, like, miss me. Girl, please. Like, because you one of the same people that let him out. A person just like you. A person just like you. A judge let him roam free. So imagine a judge, somebody that could keep him behind bars, talking about who failed who. Well, who's a bigger, again, failure than the system? And you, ma'am, represent the system. Yeah. So you're trying to hear that? It was cute. It's cute. But as far as I'm concerned, she can shut the fuck up. Police hit the like, police hit the like, police hit the like. I trust nobody in no courthouse. I don't trust nobody in no courthouse. The system was designed since they could not oppress us through slavery anymore. They created the prison system. Correct. So I don't trust nothing in it. Nothing in it. I don't care who worked there. I don't care what color they is. I don't care if they black. I don't trust you. I don't trust none of y'all. Y'all all for self. Y'all all for self. Because the same rules that apply to me do not apply to those people. If me and this black judge, if I get in trouble, I'm just fucked. Because the system is designed to throw people like me and that look like me away. But this judge, she would be shown favor. Yeah, she would be shown privilege because of her stance and what she has represented. So yeah, I can't. I don't trust any of them. Because the same rules don't apply. If I take somebody's life and I go to jail for the rest of my life, why does this judge take somebody's life, but she only got to do 5 years? Why? Committed the crime the same way, all of that. Why? So yeah, I don't trust any of them. None of them. Correct. Same thing with the police. They protect their own. I'm not one of their own. So yeah, girl, you with them. You're not for us. No, you're not. So don't sit there talking about how systems is failing people. Because if this judge care, there are other kids in that fucking house. This judge care, get those kids removed from those sickos over there. Okay? There are minors that are in that home. And she talking about the judge talking about right here, she pointed out that there was no mention of CPS, then you get in contact with them. Since black girls need, and they do need to be protected. Do something instead of sitting here pointing your finger. Like, no, you got more power than what you're shooting. There are other kids in that home. Save those kids. Because if that aunt brought somebody knowingly, brought a pedo inside a Pedialyte in that house, she'll do it again. She'll do it again. She sure will. Get them kids away from them. Show me you care. Instead of stating the obvious. We know she was let down. We know that. We know. We get it. Use what happened to her as a way to help other people. And there are other people in that house that need to be removed. Talk about that. But you are high and mighty. Girl, shut the fuck up. Sabri. As far as I'm concerned. Like, yeah, I want to hear shit. Not from you. Not from you at all. No. Now, anybody else in that courtroom could have said something, but you? No, not at all. That's like the grandmama saying the same thing. It's like the grandmama sitting on the and talking about the system let her granddaughter down. It's like, well, you did too. Hello? You ain't let her. That's how I feel. Like with the judge saying what she's saying. I'm like, ooh, not the people that let him out. Ooh, not from the same courthouse that let him out. Twice. He had a GUN charge and y'all postponed it. The day he took her life. Are we going to fix that? The day he took her life, he was supposed to be turning himself in. They postponed it to February. Who give up a Pedialyte more time on the street? But she sitting here talking about everybody else, letting her down. If y'all would have kept your word and that motherfucker would have turned himself in, maybe when I got here, she got her damn nerve. Said, girl, please, let's not throw rocks in glass houses. Let's not do that. So, again, right message, wrong messenger. Girl, please. I'm like, ugh. I'm scratching when she started talking. I'm just like, y'all got y'all nerve. Y'all got y'all nerve. Knowing his background, all of that stuff. Y'all giving this man more free time on the street? Oh, we're going to postpone it to February. We're going to give you more time to abuse. We're going to let you finish taking lives, all of that. Please. I just cannot. Hold on. Okay, because I'm getting super annoyed. Okay, so she called Naziah's girl testimony. Okay, we already read that part. But here's my thing. Like it says right here, Naziah lived in her regular routine, and she understood that she was not a runaway child. This is why I feel like the grandmother. Another reason the grandmother and the aunt knew, because Naziah was not a girl that ran away. She was not a runaway. She didn't. It wasn't normal for her not to return. She had a routine. She got off that bus. She came into the house. This is why the judge feels Naziah went into the house before she came up missing. This is why it feels like more so of a setup, because they didn't want her to have that baby. Did nobody in that house want her to have that baby? The grandmother didn't want her to have that baby. The aunt didn't want her to have that baby. Like, it definitely gives that. So if Naziah is not a runaway, why did you not call the police immediately? Why did you wait until the following morning? Why? Why? Like, you gave him plenty of time to get away and to rid of her body. Plenty of time to do so. So I think that's questionable too. Always sending those girls to the shop raises questions, added Sabri, regarding the grandmother's testimony. So in the grandmother's testimony, she said that she often sent the girls to the shop, which is very so much questionable, knowing his background. Because notice how in their testimony they never state, the grandmother nor the aunt state, that they had no idea about his background. Neither one of them has said, I had no idea that he did ... They knew. So if you knew he did it to others, why wouldn't he be doing it? And then he did it to his own child. So why would he not be like, a 4-year-old getting chlamydia from someone is big news. Big news. Okay? Big news. So they knew what that... They knew. They absolutely did. Shout out to MJ. She says, you're doing God works, speak truth. Let the world know the truth. Save the children. Absolutely. See, we actually over here saving the children. Unlike Allie Carter, because I don't know why her and Shelly ain't live talking about this. I really don't get it. Oh, the other one left. I'm sorry. Shout out to the person that sent me the super sticker. I love you. If you send me a super sticker, please let me know in the chat so I can thank you properly. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But yeah, we actually over here, because I want her body to be found. I do, because it needs to be, because we need those other charges to come up on him, because he does not deserve to get away with this. Just him being passing is not enough. So it says Butts co-owned an auto body shop in Detroit, where Naziah was reportedly frequently seen. How were there 2 women in that house who had birthed children themselves who did not notice Naziah was pregnant? And I believe she was. And not having her period anymore, said Sabri. Naziah was showing. I do believe Naziah was showing. I don't believe Naziah was just like a few weeks pregnant. I don't. I think Naziah showing. And with Naziah showing, hold on. Oh, Shrinky, love you. Thank you so much, Shrinky Sharon, for the super sticker. I love you. Oh my God, I love you so much. I love you. Mwah. I love you, Shrinky Sharon. So, because they'd be flying by and I'd be trying to, but I love you guys. And thank you so much for the super stickers. And, thank you so much for liking the video as well. And please hit the like, please hit the like, please hit the like. Naziah was showing. So, them acting like they didn't know Naziah was pregnant, this is where the setup comes in. Naziah was pregnant by Jarvis. The aunt knew, and the grandmother. So when Naziah did not show up How would I not believe that they didn't already know that he had her and she was missing? They knew she was missing because he took her from the house. They knew. The grandmother knew and the aunt, they knew. They knew that girl was pregnant. And by who? She really don't go nowhere. And when she do go, they always knew her whereabouts. They don't, there's nowhere in their testimony that they say that Naziah would just disappear. No, she wouldn't. She was in that home or she was at that shop. And if she was anywhere else, like with one of her cousins or something like that, they knew that too. So they always knew her whereabouts. So if she's pregnant, who is she pregnant by? Who? She always with this man. She's always hanging out with frequently. Who's she pregnant by? So Naziah's aunt and grandmother allowed what happened to happen. 100%. I believe that they told him out because he a dude. So he not gonna know much about like getting rid of a child. That's a woman's perspective. So both of y'all done had babies, the grandmother and the aunt. Y'all know what a pregnancy look like because y'all done been through it yourself. So how y'all constantly walking past this girl but got no idea she pregnant? No idea. Naziah, I don't feel like was hiding the pregnancy because I don't think that she fully knew. I don't think she fully knew she was pregnant because if she did, then why would she have kept saying to him like, I haven't gotten my period. She's still waiting for a period. Again, she's 13, naive. She don't know what's going on. Most people, like if you that young pregnant, you don't know you're pregnant till the baby start like kicking. Doing stuff like that. It's like, ooh, what was that? Ooh. What was that? Like if you really don't know, if you're completely ignorant to those type of, learning lessons. So they knew she was pregnant. And I would have to agree with the judge. They knew she was pregnant. They knew. And I think Naziah was starting to know too. Like, yeah, I'm definitely pregnant. Like, I don't have my cycle, my body weird, my boobs hurt and stuff. And I read online and stuff that they say, and I think Naziah kept doing research on it. And the more Naziah was researching, I think the more she started to realize, I'm definitely pregnant. That's why I think that she wanted to talk to the guidance counselor. She wanted to talk to the guidance counselor about being pregnant. I think she wanted to confirm it. Rather a pregnancy test or something like that. If you could take me to like the doctor. I think that was the basis of the conversation and like what should she do? Like what am I gonna do? Like I'm living with my family. Like I think that she wanted to talk to someone. Because who was she supposed to talk to besides Jarvis? And he wasn't supportive of the pregnancy. You could tell from text messages. He was not supportive of it. Not at all. He just wanted her to basically make sure if she was or not. That's all he really cared about. And he cared about it enough to get rid of it if she was. And I think that it was the aunt's idea. I do. I think the aunt wanted that baby gone. I think she did. Yes. I think she encouraged Jarvis to get rid of that baby. Whether she aborted it, rather she took some pills, where she swallowed some antifreeze. Whatever you got to do, get rid of that child. There will not be another kid in this house that ain't coming out of me if it's from you. And I think that was her energy towards it. So when you're that angry with someone, when you're that mad, and I also think maybe there was a small argument between why the judge thinks that she went to the house. Maybe there was an argument. Maybe they took her phone and whatnot because she didn't have much communication with anyone after she got off that bus. It's like, well, she was very talkative. She was texting even Jarvis a lot and whatnot. And with the cell phone towers pinging. Because where's her phone? That's what I wanted to look up. Okay, let me finish this and then because it's like, where was her phone? Was it said where her phone was? Did it say where her phone was found? Lauren says yes, and he barely responded at times. Yes, because she was just SCX. Like, he didn't care nothing about that girl. She was just a body, a way for him to carry out his sick fantasies. That's all she was. She had no idea that that's what was going on because, again, she's young, naive. She don't, fully see the picture fully. She sees parts of it, but she, She didn't understand what she was doing. She was just doing it. So pardon. She said she stood out the most was, she said what stood out the most was that when the grandmother learned around 6 p.m. on January 9th, 2024, that Naziah did not come home from school, and said she looked around for her and decided to wait until the next morning to call the police. She appeared not to show emotion because she knew what was up. She knew what was up. She knew what happened. So, you know, it's like, I feel that the crying and stuff, the emotion comes from not knowing. You know, when you don't know something, that's a different type of pain. Like when something just hits you out of nowhere, it's like a shock to system. You know, it's just like, oh my God, you know, but when it's like, you know, when you expected this, it's hard to show the emotion that's not there because all of them felt the way about her. They all felt the way about Naziah. They did. It would have been a much shorter exam if her body were found, but this is where we are, said Sabrine. Before concluding the hearing, she told Butts to stand up and listen to her as she continued her statement directly towards him. At one point, I knew you were cognitively impaired, she told Butts, and then maybe you had the brain of a 10-year-old, and that's why you're doing these such things. But as I've heard more and more testimonies, you're just the true definition of a pedophile. You ruined Naziah. You played mind games with her. We all heard that, she continued. You controlled her emotionally. She was exposed to so much at a young age. And the text messages between you two were disgusting to hear. Naziah deserves so much more, and while I mentioned that other people have failed her, Jarvis Butts, you are the monster in this whole picture. Facts. Jarvis and the system. Jarvis in the system. Please hit the like, please hit the like, please hit the like. Absolutely. Please hit the like, 450 likes. Thank y'all so much for double tapping that screen. Thus far, if you have not, please double tap that screen. I would appreciate that as well. Thank you so much. Detroit Men Stand Trial. Okay, yeah. Is this the one with the video or not? Yeah, no, that's not. Okay, so I'll just read this. So shout out to, what is this? Detroit. Detroit, CBS News, Detroit. A Detroit man will stand trial in the murder of 13-year-old Miss Naziah Harris. Jarvis Butts, 42, of Detroit, is charged with first-degree premeditated murder, second-degree criminal. We already read those charges. Naziah was last seen getting off her bus at the corner of Cornwall and 3 Mile Drive in Detroit on January 9, 2024. Her body has not been found. On Thursday, Judge Aliyah Sabri sent the case over to the Third Circuit Court for trial. So, yeah, we already know all that. Okay, we just read all that. Oh, that's basically just what we just read. Okay, I'll go to the next one because this has the text messages. So, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. Okay, so we're gonna get into the text. I'm just gonna put them on the screen so y'all can see the text messages, and I will read them. Okay. Okay. So, to put a face, there's Naziah. Oh, she was so pretty. Poor thing. So this was the beautiful Naziah. This was her. So sad. So this is, it says the last known photograph of Naziah was taken January 9th. She went missing after leaving school that day. Poor thing. She was so pretty. All right. Now let's get into these messages. All right. Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger. Back that up a little bit. Back that on up like a Tonka truck. Okay, so let's get into the text message. They're down here, right here. So the text message revealed Butts allegedly sending her as explicitly messages and asked her for nude photos. The text messages suggested there were more conversations like this previously. The text messages later in 2023 revealed Harris claimed she was pregnant and talked about having trouble in school due to her baby. The following text messages were translated and spelled the way Jones specified or said when testifying in court on Thursday. So this is Harris, which is Naziah. She says, "Come on, you okay?" Then she says, "Where are we doing it at your choice?" And then he says, but you tell me. Then Harris says, which is Naziah, basement. You sure? Or job? So this is letting you know that when he was taking her to the shop with him, when she says or job, that means that's where they would rendezvous. A lot of these things would happen to where he would have privacy with her and be able to do these things. So he says to her, "Can you F my D, please? And make sure you erase these messages." And then she says, "K, that's what I plan to do." June 5th, 2022. Now, mind you, she's 11 at the point of these messages, okay? Right here, she's 11, September 27th, 2022. She's an 11-year-old, okay? She's an 11-year-old. He's saying, please, S my D. He's saying that to an 11-year-old. He was 40 at the time, 39, 40 at the time. Crazy. June 5th, 2022. He says to her, "I'm at your house." She says, "Damn, we were just there." She also says, "You bet not be in my room." But they're saying, the aunt and the grandmother are saying that it was just an uncle and niece relationship. An uncle and niece relationship. Why is she texting them like, "You bet not be in my room"? What? What he being there for? And how did nobody see that? So the aunt, did nobody see him in her room? Nobody? And then she says, "I need another phone. I miss you." Now, notice he's not responding to her. Like he's not, because again, and notice what he says when he does respond. "I stole your panties." Because she wasn't there. Right around, the grandmother said that he was barely in the house. You sure? She says, he says, "I'm at your house." She left. She wasn't there. She said, "Damn, we were just there. You bet not be in my room." What? What? Then she says, "I need another phone. I miss you." And then he says, "I stole your panties." Wow. Wowzers. Wowzers. June 24th, 2023. "Send some pictures, please." This is what Jarvis says to Naziah. Naziah says, "Don't you still got the other pics?" And then Jarvis says, "No." Harris says, Naziah, "I will send some." Now that's child pornography, okay? Even pictures from a minor is considered a federal crime. So yeah, that's one of his charges as well. 27, 2023. Jarvis says, "Are you naked yet?" Harris says, "No," which is Naziah, "I don't want to get naked." "Are you mad that I didn't get naked?" Naziah says to him. And then he says, "I used to you telling me no," which is a way of manipulation, making her feel as if she needs to not tell him no, that whenever he requests her, that she should just be willing and ready. She should just be, ready to go, and making her feel guilty, about not doing certain things, making her feel less than adequate. That's a grooming tactic. It's like, "Oh, I'm used to you telling no," stuff like that, to make her feel like she needs to say yes more often. September 26th. Oh, okay, real. So she says, on June 27th, the last message I didn't read, she says, "Come on, babe, I'm sorry, just not in the mood. I'm sorry." He only contacts her, if you notice, he says to her, June 27th, "Are you naked yet?" He only contacts her about SES. That's it. So you would have to think back to, like we were saying earlier, that she was clearly in love with him, that he had groomed her to be in love. So this means the personal conversations that they would have is what made her fall. Because these text messages isn't anything to fall in love with. It's nothing to fall in love with. Somebody sleeping with you, they're just sleeping with you. It's kind of just what it is. But to fall in love with them, to always want to be around them, and all of that takes more work. So I believe that it was the in-person time they spent and the conversations that they had is to what made him fall or her fall for him. So the grooming was taking place at like the shop and stuff like that, and making her feel like. So then September 26, 2023, Naziah says, "Bae, you up?" Then she sends question marks, and then she says, "Yeah," and then she also says, "My period haven't came at all. Hello, are you there?" So that's what made him respond, because he did not respond. Notice all of the messages say Harris, 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 Harris. That's Naziah. So he was not responding to her. So when she just wanted to talk, or, because she's in love with him. So she's going to like message him and stuff like that, like you would do somebody that you are courting or falling for. But he would never oblige her in that way because he was in a relationship with her aunt, and she was a way of feeling a sick fantasy. That's all she was to him. He never cared about her in that regard. This was purely sexual for him. Please hit the like, please hit the like, please hit the like. So when she says, my period haven't came at all, she also says to him, hello, you there? Then Jarvis responds, what you mean? And then she says, it have not came. Okay, now this is September 2023. So this is the first time she had got pregnant, okay, or was assuming that she was pregnant. So then Jarvis says to her, since when? Since when? And then she says, since I was in the hospital. Then Jarvis says, that was last month. She says, Naziah, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I have to go to the doctor's tomorrow. And then he says, you said you took a pregnancy test and it was negative. And Naziah said, it did. So then Jarvis says, so go get another one. And then Naziah says, I can't. I have no money. And then he says, or she says, you go get one. And you ain't scared to get a plan B. Get a pregnancy test and bring it later today. Just act like you have to use the bathroom. So she said, now, peep game right there. She says, you ain't scared to get a plan B. So I'm sure it sounds like she's taking plan B pills something like before. Because why would she say that? You ain't scared to go get a plan B. So don't be scared to go get a pregnancy test. Don't be scared. Go ahead and get one and then come in and act like use the bathroom and leave it in there for me. And I'll go take it. Like, hello? Hello? So she says to him, please. And then she says, will you do it? And then she says, hello. And then he finally says, okay. Crazy. November 27, 2023. This is Naziah. I just want to talk. I really don't want to lose you. Poor thing. She says, can we talk later? Yes or no? Then she says, I don't know what your problem, but I need you to bring me what I need tonight. It's hard doing all this gym-ish with this baby. And if I don't do M, I'm going to get an F. So she clearly knew in November, okay, because these messages here. Ooh, I did it again. Hold on. Lord. I don't know what that were. Hold on. So, let me pull this back up. I pressed the wrong button. So, let me go back down to the. So, getting back into what I was saying, probably rudely interrupted. Okay, right here. So, in September, when it was first talking about like the plan B and pregnancy test. So here we are in November. In November, she for sure knew that she was pregnant because she stated herself, I don't know what your problem is, but bring me what I need you to bring tonight. It's hard doing all of this gym-ish with this baby, and if I don't do them, I'm going to get an F. Okay? So at this point in time, I'm thinking two different ways. Do y'all think that Because like we said before, we think I wanted to keep the baby. But did she? Because listen to what she says again. I don't know what your problem is, I'm sure is what she meant, but I need you to bring me what I need tonight. It's hard, all this gym-ish with this baby, and if I don't do them, I'm going to get an F. So my question is this. Did she want the Plan B pills? Because she clearly couldn't be talking about a pregnancy test if she already knew that she was pregnant. And if she's saying I can't be doing all of this gym-ish with this baby, is she saying that because she wanted to get rid of it? Like, bring me to something I need so I can get rid of this baby because this gym stuff that I'm doing is... Bella says she wanted the pregnancy test. But that's confusing when she says, because again, listen, I don't know what your problem, but I need you to bring me what I need tonight. It's hard doing all this gym-ish with this baby. Why would you need a pregnancy test if you're pregnant? Why would you need a test? And the pregnancy test conversation ended September. This is November. Same year, but November. So it sounds like she knew she was pregnant because she said this baby. So she couldn't have been talking about a pregnancy test. She spoke of the Plan B before, so maybe she had got pregnant before. And, you know, so at this point, was she saying, you know, this baby got to go because I can't be doing all of this stuff in gym and all of that. But honestly, I could look at it, you can look at it that way, or was she just trying to get his attention? Because he keeps ignoring her. So was that her way of getting his attention? Shout out to Roxy. Oh, hi, Roxy. This is a Lady Lounge, my baby. I love you, girl. Love Roxy. Love her. Thank you so much for being a member, sweetheart. Or was she just trying to get his attention? Because y'all women, y'all know y'all do that. Women, y'all do that. We start ignoring y'all, not answering y'all phone calls and stuff. Then, you know, all of a sudden, I don't know why you answer my calls and I might be pregnant. Knowing y'all ain't pregnant. Knowing y'all not. So y'all do certain stuff. Y'all do to get our attention. You will. You will say certain things. You know, so because she's young, sure, 13, you know. So was she just trying to get his attention? Or did she really want to get rid of the baby? Because that's what it sounds like. One or the other. Because again, in the beginning of the message, she says, I don't know what's your problem, meaning I don't know what your problem is. Because she had messaged him, because this is all on the same day. She says, hey, I just want to talk. I really don't want to lose you. And then her next message, same day, can we talk later, yes or no? And then later on, she says, I don't know what your problem, but I need you to bring me what I need tonight. It's hard doing all this gym-ish with this baby, and if I don't do them, then I'm going to get an F. So she could have just been trying to get his attention. I really don't think she wanted to get rid of the baby because she loved him. You could tell. She loved him. Shout out to Shani. Thank you so much for being a member. 45 months, period. She says, love you, Sean. I'm glad you're talking about this. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Love you. Thank you for being here, babes. Caleb said the fact that he went through the same thing with a grown woman and became a father at 13 himself makes it even worse. He has 20 children, supposedly. Shaking my head. Yes, I heard he had 15, but you know, could be 22. Yeah, I heard he had all together like 15 kids. I'm like, whoa. Chantel Around says yes, and she was making videos on IG singing songs. We gonna have some pretty babies, right? So I do think that she wanted to keep the baby. I think that maybe this was just a way of getting his attention. But it does sound like she, you know, was like at her wit's end, you know, with the situation. Mark says, I think she may have been too far along for anything. I think so too. Because if she thought she was pregnant in September, she was. If that's what she was first requesting, a pregnancy test. So then we get all the way to November. That's why I say I believe she was like, 4 or 5 months along, is what it's giving. That she was decently long, and she knew that she was pregnant. She knew for a fact, like, yeah, I'm pregnant, because she says it with this baby, and if I don't do it, I'm gonna get an F. So she knew she was pregnant, and that clarifies that he knew as well that she was pregnant. Okay, now January 9th comes around, final text message, January 9th, 2024. Harris, what she says, don't forget, be there before 3. I'll let you know when I'm leaving school, and you not there, I will wait. And then she also sent him, send okay if you see the message so I can delete your number. And then he sent okay. What I'm gathering from this conversation, what are y'all gathering? Because I can tell you what I figured happened in this conversation. Naziah says, don't forget, be there before 3. I will let you know when I'm leaving the school. If you're not there, I will wait. And then she says, send okay if you see the message so I can delete your number. And then he said, okay. What I'm gathering, what's going to happen on January 9th, him taking her to get an abortion. 100%. I believe he was taking her to get rid of the baby. That's what I think. That's what I think. I think he was taking her to get rid of the baby. But the thing about it is, I believe she was too far along. So it's like, where? If you were going to get an option, where? Because she's too far along. I also think that's why he may have had the motel, because that's where he planned on doing it himself, not taking her to like get it done. Because it sounds like she was too far along. So I believe that the family tricked her. I do. And I don't believe it was just him. I think that it was the, aunt and grandmother tricked her into going. And she had no idea what was in store. And I don't think originally he meant to take her life. I do think he's just stupid. He's an idiot. And she died. I think that was the plan, though. Because what else would it have been? She says, don't forget, be there before 3. Craziness. Sean, do you think her brother knew what was going on? That is tricky. Because we're gonna break this down more. I'm just trying to get my foot through the door, because this is a lot of information, and there's a lot of components. So I'm just trying to get my foot in the door. But it has been with the family members. Because the cousin knew. The cousin knew. The cousin said that he tried the same things on her, and she declined. She got away from him. She was just like, yeah, no. But he tried to do the same things to her. So, yeah. More people knew than what they are leading on. 100%. 100%. But let's get into this real quick. The preliminary hearing of this evil man.
Her body never found, but we have learned so much about what detectives believe happened to her in the time leading up to her murder.
Tomorrow morning, the case moves to Wayne County Circuit Court, where the man accused of killing her, Jarvis Butts, will be arraigned on murder charges. Our Sean Lay has covered this case since his arrest, and tonight takes us inside the case. Sean?
3 names to remember here. Zion Foster, Detroit teen. There was a search for her right at this very Lenox Township landfill. Now, Ashley Elkins, there's a search going on for her right now at this same landfill. Naziah Harris, there was not a search here at the landfill. A chief investigator on that case is also here, however. There's a search for her Metro Detroit wide. Let's focus on Naziah Harris right now and catch you up on the things you did not know about that disturbing case. Detroit should never forget the name Naziah Harris. Now, just take a look at the last photo taken of this child. Naziah Harris was a child. She was 13 years old. Study her face. Look at the light in her eyes. Naziah took this final photo of herself at school January 9th, 24. She was never seen again. Prosecutors believe she was pregnant. She was brutally murdered. The child's body has never been found. When charges were brought, Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy highlighted this photo in a heartbreaking way.
She is smiling and waving.
And I do want to call this out, too. This is another thing that I feel like needs to be called out. A pink jumpsuit and that black sweater was found. She clearly didn't have on a pink jumpsuit. She didn't have on a pink jumpsuit. She didn't. Look at her. It's the last picture taken of her the day she went missing. She took the picture. That's why I said this ain't nothing but God with certain things like this. Because who put those clothes out there? I don't feel like Jarvis put those clothes out there. I feel like that auntie did. Because where did the change of clothes come from? Maybe she had a change of clothes. Or maybe, like the Judge Sabri stated, she went into her house before she came up missing. Or maybe she went home, like the judge thinks that happened, and changed clothes and talked to people. I mean, like I said, it could have argument that transpired. All that. So she did change clothes. Where? Where did she change clothes at? I doubt she changed clothes outside. I doubt she did. So where did those clothes come from? And they said the clothes that was put out there were fresh. If Jarvis has been in jail, where did the clothes come from? Who put the clothes out there? How could he have freshly put some clothes out there while he was in jail? Who put those clothes out there? And why wasn't it the same outfit that she had on? Even if she did change, where did she change at? This is the outfit she got off the bus in. That is not a pink jumpsuit. I'm just saying. That's the outfit that she had on. But they did find a black sweater, and she does have on a black sweater, but she does not have on a pink jumpsuit. No, she does not. So I don't get it. I'm like, again, it feels like more people are involved than what they're leading on.
Breaking way.
She is smiling and waving and saying hello. But little did she know that she was really saying bye.
The next thing Detroit should never forget is how 36 District Court Judge Naziah Harris at a hearing last week called out many adults in Naziah's life, saying they also failed this child.
From what I have heard over the last 4 days, 5 days total, is that several people failed her. I don't know where the mother is. I don't know anything other than that she was forced to live in a home where she was not protected or given the adequate attention and love.
But Judge Sabri went further about how family members and Detroit also failed this little girl before she even mentioned the name of the man sitting in front of her, Jarvis Butts, the man at the center of a 5-day hearing. Bit by bit, prosecutors here worked to connect the dots that Butts allegedly abused Naziah over a long period of time sexually, allegedly controlled her life. Prosecutors say Butts got Naziah pregnant, and the judge said she believes all of the evidence shows Butts allegedly tried to abort the pregnancy himself. But the judge says she believes Butts injured Naziah and then murdered her.
He intentionally killed her and tried his best to cover it up.
But without finding Naziah's body, investigators focused on Butts, and they had to find his cell phone. Butts told police he had nothing to hide and told police to go through his phone.
Where's her phone? Because he's an idiot. He's the reason how they got the text messages. What you think is deleted is never deleted. Don't think that. Don't think because it's not in your phone that you can't get the phone records from like the cell phone company, all of that. Like that's why I say he's an idiot, literally.
Apparently, Butts was right. There was nothing linking him to abusing or killing Naziah on his cell phone. But that's where Detroit police data experts dug in. Expert after expert detailing in court how they extracted all of the deleted material from his phone. His web searches, how to abort a pregnancy using antifreeze. And then the thousands upon thousands of text messages he sent to Naziah. Detroit Police Sergeant Shannon Jones and her team got those deleted texts, and for hours, Jones read hundreds of those texts in court, text after text showing a 42-year-old man in complete control of a 13-year-old girl.
He sends her a text that says, "Are you naked yet?" She replies to him and says, "No, I don't want to get naked." She replies, Are you mad that I didn't get naked?
5 days of this preliminary hearing, Butts was hunched over behind his lawyer with a mask on. I watched him for 4 days. He never looked up once. Jarvis Butts, the last person, prosecutors say, who was with Naziah. The final person, the judge says, who failed Naziah Harris.
And while I mentioned other people that failed her, Jarvis Butts, you are the monster in this whole picture.
Being in there every single day was chilling every single day. If you're watching right now and your phone's next to you, take a moment, grab the phone, open up the camera, take a look at that QR code with that camera that's on your screen right now. That'll link you right to click on Detroit.com.
Yeah, we're not doing none of that.
All those text messages, the thousands of them presented into evidence and much more.
Yeah, there are plenty of text. I mean, there's text messages of him talking about something. I can't wait to. Woo! I don't go, girl. I don't know. Maybe in the next live I'll try, but it's just. Oh my god, it's crazy. Hold on, let me pull up the cousin testifying. Okay, so cousin testifies against the murder of Naziah Harris, being her being SA'd. The cousin. Okay, hold on, let me get down to what she has said. Okay, hold on, let me pause this because I'm gonna play it. But yes, so. Okay, right here. Okay, on Tuesday, one of Naziah's young cousins testified about being in the room with another cousin while Butts took advantage and had sex with Naziah. So again, he wasn't hiding this. This wasn't hidden. Okay, he was outwardly doing this. If he doing it right next to people, like, but the aunt and the grandma don't know nothing. Please. The cousin says it wasn't the first time she witnessed Butts coercing SCX on her cousins. She testified that he tried to make advances towards her at one point, but she was able to say no after recognizing what he was trying to do. So again, the family knew. When people say like, "Oh, I wonder if the brother knows," and I mean, how would he not? How not known? I feel like that's where I'm at because everybody else knew.
Harris was back in court today as witness statements continue with the preliminary hearing. Thank you for joining us on Friday.
And I'm Meredith Bruckner. Harris's body was never recovered after disappearing nearly a year ago, but a witness testified yesterday that she saw 42-year-old defendant Jarvis Butts with Harris in Ypsilanti the evening she went missing.
Okay, hold on, let's go.
With the murder.
Okay, I'm gonna play it. I don't feel like it's too many people that don't know. I feel like everybody know damn near.
Murder of 13-year-old Naziah Harris was back in court today as witness statements continue with the preliminary hearing. Thank you for joining us on Terrence Friday.
And I'm Meredith Bruckner. Harris's body was never recovered after disappearing nearly a year ago, but a witness testified yesterday that she saw 42-year-old defendant Jarvis Butts with Harris in Ypsilanti the evening she went missing. CBS News Detroit's Jack Springate joins us from outside a 36th District Courthouse in Detroit to tell us how phone records are shedding more light on Butts' whereabouts following Naziah's disappearance.
Well, an expert in phone records forensics and cell tower mapping delivered a compelling timeline of where they tracked Butts' phone the day Naziah disappeared, as well as the following 36 hours. A little after 4 p.m. on January 9th, 2024, Butts' phone was tracked to his shop on Connor Street, according to the expert's analysis. Between that time and a little before 7:30 p.m., the data shows his phone's location heading towards Ypsilanti, consistent with what one witness said yesterday when she claimed seeing Naziah with Butts the day she went missing. Further analysis shows more activity from his cell phone near his shop once again. This time it's traced around 8:22 and 9 p.m. on January 9th. The witness then testified to Butts' phone activity stemming from the area near the Park Crest Inn. That's what two witnesses described yesterday, the place Butts would take other women to have sex. The report shows that these calls occurred after 10:35 p.m. on the day Naziah disappeared. Another exhibit shows Butts' phone activity more than 24 hours later. This time they tracked activity between 11:40 p.m. on January 10th to 1:30 a.m. on the 11th near the area of 7 Mile and Berg Road. This is the same location crews searched for Naziah's body 1 year ago. They never found her, but they did find a jacket, pink onesie, and black Nike shoes that match what witness described her wearing when she went missing.
We were responding.
So again, they found a pink onesie. That is not what she had on. That's not what she had on when she left school. And then you see when he was pinned at her family's house after she, touched with missing. So it gives that they knew what went on. They knew what happened to that girl. They knew what happened to her. And then he just sitting over there chilling. She disappeared on the 9th, and then on the 10th, it shows that his whereabouts was pretty much there the whole day. Come on now. Come on.
A missing person.
What was your role in searching the 7 Mile and Berg area?
I was searching the riverbank of the River Rouge. We were searching south along the bank. I was on the east side of the bank in the 7 Mile Berg area.
We then heard shocking testimony from one of Naziah's cousins, who is younger than 10 years old. A warning, this information could be disturbing to some viewers. In a room with another cousin while Butts took advantage, had sex with Naziah. This wasn't the only time judges witnessing Butts coercing sex on her. Take advances towards her at one point, but she was able to say no after recognizing what he was trying to do. Unfortunately, that's because she's seen him act this way towards her cousins before, who are also his nieces. One of Naziah's biggest advocates, and adult cousins, seeing Butts in court after hearing allegations.
Have nice words, necessarily for that. But I was, I have to be strong for my family. I have to be strong for Naziah, and I'm putting my trust in the justice system.
And it doesn't get much more difficult to hear witness testimony than what we heard from that young girl this afternoon. We'll be here for another day of witness testimony starting tomorrow, and we'll be bringing you updates starting at 10 a.m. throughout the day. For now, reporting outside the 36th District Courthouse, I'm Jack Springate, CBS News Detroit.
Craziness. So what I feel like the scenario was he would wait until like the children were laying down for the night. How when most people pray on people, and then he'll like go into the room and try to coerce whichever one that he could get to do it. Even if it wasn't Naziah, he would do it to the other ones in the room. It's like he honestly didn't care which one it was, as long as it was one of them. So I mean, like a true definition of a predator. Like it don't get much worse than somebody like him. So let me hold on. There was another one. So yeah, and that little cousin was underage. Like she was just like, yeah, I remember he would try to do the same thing to me too. I'm like, wow, that is. Ugh. And it's sad, and this is how you know there ain't no love in that house, because none of them said anything. Didn't nobody say nothing. So then it's trying to coerce you into do things. You get what he's trying to do, and you know what's wrong, you know what's bad. That's when you go tell somebody. That's when you know. But when you are feeling like you can't, or that you shouldn't say anything, because if one of them would have came forward, because I'm not saying nothing about the underage girl, because you whatever. We can't blame anything on you. She's a kid. She, yeah. So I'm not saying anything towards her. But you should feel like you should be able to say something. And if somebody would have, then this could have been. I'm not even gonna say it could have been prevented, because I feel like the adults knew. It's the children that I feel sorry for, because they shouldn't have had to go through anything like this ever in life. That young lady should not have been being coerced by a grown-ass man to have sex with her after she because it's trauma, just her sitting there listening to her young cousin be, assaulted, like right in front of her, and it's just happening like that. That's, I mean, you're hearing what's happening, and that can be more devastating than watching it, honestly. So all of the kids were let down. They absolutely were. I understand the not saying anything, because in most Black households, don't ask, don't tell. So I think a lot of kids would tell the truth if they were being asked. Not about telling a kid to tell, because they are a kid. It's about you asking. You would be so surprised by the information that you would get from a child if you ask them. You'll be shocked by the stuff they'll tell you if they know that this is a space and a safe place to be able to divulge said information. They can trust you, not just with the information, but trust you to protect them. Because that's the fear. That'd be the fear of why most of them don't say anything, because they're going to do to them. They're scared. They're afraid. So let them know that they don't need to be. Then they will open up. They will. So if it's not about saying, well, they should have said something or they could have said something. No. You should be asking. Because they're a kid. Imagine saying the 4-year-old that he gave chlamydia could have said something. She's 4. She's 4. But if her, parts is, hurting, and stuff like that, even at 4, there's certain information that they can give you if you let them know it's a safe space. Hey, did somebody, because those questions are going to have to come up. You take your kid and they say at 4-year-old that they got, at 4 years old, that they have chlamydia. Now you have, because if you don't ask them the questions, the CPS and the police and all of them about to be getting real personal with your kid. So it's best that you have that conversation. And the 4-year-old conveyed enough information for them to know that it was him. So even at 4 years old, a 4-year-old got justice from their predator. So if a 4-year-old can do it, an 11-year-old could do it, a 12-year-old could do it, a 16-year-old could do it. They can't. They just need to know that it's a safe space. And you have to ask. Because it's not like they found out that she had chlamydia and they didn't ask any more questions. Like that was just it. No. Now we need to figure out why and how. We need to figure that out now. Okay? That's just what that word. That's the next step. Not let's just take you home. No. Because as a parent, how mortifying would that be to you thinking your kid got a urine infection, or start tracking, something like that, and you take them in and they say it's chlamydia. It's like, what? My kid got what? At 4? Wow. Wow. Utterly disgusting. He need to be, this is who death penalties need to be given to. People like him. Like, no cap. So, again, ask these children what's going on. Do not expect them to just tell you, because they won't. And think about it, if you are a victim yourself and you held it in a long time or still hold it in to this day or never told anybody, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? Break the cycle. Even if you don't want to break it for yourself, break it for them. Break it for them. Be to them who you would have wanted somebody to be for you as a victim. Be that. You would have wanted somebody to sit down and you and talk to you about it, explain it to you, let you know that it was not your fault. All that, you need to do the same thing. The same exact thing. Okay? That's just what that were. But let's get into sister of suspect in Naziah Harris murder testifies. Let's get into this. Okay, this is the sister.
And how old are you, Miss Butts?
6.
And do you know someone named Jarvis Butts?
Yes.
And how is it that you know him?
He's my brother.
Okay.
So this is Jarvis's sister. Okay, now please hold judgment on her because I don't know too much about her yet, but y'all definitely let me know. I believe in blaming people for other people's sins. She can't help that her brother is sick and twisted and all this. She didn't do nothing to Naziah. So yeah, now she's testifying, so I definitely want to listen to this. We're going to get into some of this before we, call it a day.
How old is Jarvis Butts?
42.
And do you know his birthday?
Yes.
When's his birthday?
November 21st, 1982.
And do you see Jarvis Butts in the courtroom today?
That's all I'm walking in.
Okay. And can you point to him and tell me the color of the clothing he's wearing?
He has on,
You can tell she's very disappointed. She's disgusted. Like she said, I saw him walk in. Like, I can't even look at this motherfucker.
I believe it's dark green shirt behind the lady to the side here.
And you're going to read the rest of the fight when it says identify the defendant in this case?
So, and just to be clear,
You said I saw him walking in. You saw him when you were walking in or when he was walking in?
When I was walking in just now.
Thank you.
And Ms. Butts, where did you know Jarvis to work?
He worked at a shop on Warren and Neff, right, and then he moved to a shop on Hopper and Counter. I don't know the name of it.
And Ms. Butts, do you remember talking to Detroit police back on February 26, 2024?
Yes.
And what's the reason that you went and talked to Detroit police?
I have reason to believe that I saw Naziah the day she went missing.
Okay. Tell me about that. What makes you believe that you saw Naziah on the day she went missing?
Where do you want me to start this?
So, from the very beginning, where is it that you think you saw Naziah?
At the shop on Harbor and Commerce.
Okay, and whose shop is that?
My brother Jarvis and his partner.
Okay. So what's the reason you were at your brother's shop that day?
Something was wrong with the car that I was driving, and I just needed him to check it out to make sure it was safe for me to drive.
Okay. Do you recall about what time did you go to Jarvis's shop that day?
About 4 p.m., give or take a few minutes.
Okay, and around what time did you leave?
Somewhere between 6 and 6:30.
Okay. And what is it that you noticed while you were up?
So, it's a car, like garage. So I was sitting outside of the shop in my car. I've been working on another car on the inside. As I sat there for the time that I was there, I kept seeing a little girl get in and out of his truck, going to the gas station and going back to his car.
Now, this was the day she was missing? Is this the day she went missing?
Okay, so I'm gonna stop you right there. Whose car are we talking about?
My brother.
Okay, and what kind of car was it?
I believe a Cadillac Escalade.
Okay. Do you remember what color?
Kind of like a...
LaRon says, hold on. The family didn't think to spend by the shop. She frequented, the brainstorming I'm doing, these people are so crooked. Here's the thing, LaRon. Not only did they not think to spend the block over there, although she was definitely there because his phone was pinned there, they never called either. They never left, but they never looked for her. The grandmother said she looked for her, but there's no proof. There's no, oh, yeah, we saw them in the neighborhood looking. She came over here, knocked on doors, this, that. She stopped at the shop, her and the aunt, blah, blah, blah. They were on this side of town. One was on this side, the other one was on the other side, blah, blah, blah. They never looked for her because they already knew where she was. That's somewhere that they sent her. The grandma sent her to the shop all the time. Why wouldn't she, if she didn't come home, why wouldn't she think that she was at the shop? Why wouldn't she? And then another thing is, why wasn't neither one of them contacting Jarvis at that time? The phone records do not indicate while she was missing that they were contacting him, looking for her, none of that, because they already knew what was up.
Okay, and you said you described this as a two garage shop?
Yeah.
Okay, and I want to approach with people's Exhibit 7.
Okay.
Now, Ms. Butts, do you recognize what is it we're looking at people's Exhibit 7?
Yeah.
Okay, what is that?
So she's still, because in case I don't like Sister Sean, if my brother did this, I would never speak to him again. Now, I wouldn't either. I would have nothing else, nothing to say, but she's testifying against him. So do they still speak outside of this? Because she's not on his side. She is clear as day. She's helping him get incarcerated.
That is the shop.
And where at were you parked when you saw someone getting in and out of Jarvis' truck?
In front of the car doors of the garage right here. I was facing, I don't know what direction going towards Gresham. I was like in front, but outside.
Okay, so you were kind of parked parallel with the road?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you draw a T where your truck was?
My car?
Yes, your car was. Yes. And then put an arrow the way you were facing. And where is it where Jarvis' truck was? Just put a J where Jarvis' truck was. What way was his truck facing?
It was facing my direction, so the front was
towards you. Okay, so put an arrow for that direction. Now, do you get a look at this little girl that you see getting in and out of his car?
I saw her, as she was walking. I never saw her face.
Did you see any clothing?
I did.
Okay. Did anything about the clothing stick out to you or that you remember?
I just remember her having on a colorful jacket.
Okay. And what door, which side do you remember seeing her getting in and out of Jarvis' truck? Or did it change?
I don't really remember.
Okay, that's okay. So you said you mostly remember a jacket, a colorful jacket.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm going to show you what's marked as People's Exhibit 2, which is already admitted, and People's Proposed Exhibit.
It's not to hate a sibling. It's not. When you grow up with someone, and who knows how the growing up process was? Who knows? Who knows how that dynamic was? But in most families, when you have siblings and stuff like that, you grow up loving each other, and your family like forces you to. Even times you can't stand them, sibling rivalry, and stuff like that. You grow up loving them, and we have no idea how they're going to turn out. So when they do turn out a way that you frown upon, it's not easy to just disown them and hate them, and all of that. So I appreciate the fact that she realizes what he did was wrong and that something needs to be done about it, blood or not. So I can appreciate that. It is what it is. Now, I do understand that there was prior abuse that he was putting on people, including a 4-year-old girl, and the list goes on and on. Now, that dynamic, I don't understand. We would have to ask her about that because you do something like that, a 4-year-old, wow, like we ain't got nothing else to discuss. And she's stating the situation as she was there to see her brother at the shop the day that Naziah went missing. So she clearly still had a relationship with him after those other allegations. But he had never taken a life before. So I don't know, maybe if that's the reason why, it's just like, like enough is truly enough. I don't know. But you would definitely have to ask her about that. So how I feel about it is you do that at all, we don't have anything to discuss, and it would be very hard, to cut a loved one off, but you have to, and not just for the protection of, other people and the victim, also for you. If these people are like this, like if he's willing to sleep with his own daughter, why would he do it to her? He could have abused her. As far as we know, we have no idea. He does seem sick, twisted, it's just a lot. He's a monster. So we truly don't know what the background is with her, but I can appreciate her testifying against him. Yeah, hey, I can appreciate it because she is one of the last people that saw Naziah alive, and she could have been quiet about it. She did not have to say anything. She did not have to say that she was there. She didn't have to say that she's seen her. She didn't have to do any of those things, but she did, and I can appreciate that. So shout out to her for that.
10. You want to correct?
Yes.
And if you could mark this People's Exhibits 2 and 10. Okay. Do you recognize anything in those photos?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
What is it that you recognize?
Right. Check.
And for the record, you're pointing up
Who said the car service was free? Who said that?
in channel 1, and you recognize this like pink colorful jacket?
Yes.
Okay. And that's in People's Exhibit 10? Your Honor, I move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 10 as Exhibit 10. Is that a fair record of the jacket that you saw that day?
Yes.
Your Honor, I move for the proposed People's Exhibit 10.
Any objection?
No objection.
Okay, it'll be admitted as People's Exhibit 10.
Okay. And in People's 2, is that so? Where is it? What you recognize People's Exhibit 2?
It looks like channel 2 here, maybe.
Okay, facing the back?
Yeah.
Okay. And you recognize the jacket in this photo too, right? Yes.
It's a little blurry, but
Okay. And what about in channel 1 of Exhibit 2?
Please hit the like. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. This is Jarvis Butt's older sister testifying.
Seems to be the back of the jacket. Okay. Thank you. And you said that you saw this little girl with this jacket on getting in and out, going into the gas station?
yes.
Okay. Did you know who this little girl was at the time?
No.
Okay. Is there a time that you ever get out of your car?
Yes.
And what do you do?
I needed to use the restroom, so I asked his partner if I could use the restroom. He told me to go and tell him in the gas station. And as I was walking towards the gas station, she was walking in front of me, going into the gas station.
Okay. So about how far in front of you was she?
And again, be mindful that this has to be very triggering for her. Imagine just sitting there minding your business. But I'm sorry. It's getting like really triggered. So yeah, maybe we just like cut it right here for today. So she says she sees Naziah go into the gas station. Now I can only imagine how traumatizing that'll be. You know, you just see this girl and then the next time you hear she's deceased, and not only is she allegedly deceased, she was pregnant by your brother. You know, like that would be crazy. But my thing is this. The sister knows what her brother has done. A 4-year-old, an STD, doing this to his own child. Why would you see this young girl knowing that she's with your brother and you do nothing? Why do you not say something to him? Why do you not say something to her? If I know that my brother is capable of these things and I see him with a young girl, I have questions. I don't give a fuck if he get mad or anything. What is this girl doing? Who is this? Why are you stuck with you? What is this? No, okay, well, she can come with me then. Yeah, she could just come hang with me, you know, whatever. Where she live at? Yeah, when you fix my car, I'll just drop her off. Like, no big deal. Don't worry about it. Because, like, you know what he capable of. And you see this young girl with him getting in and out of his truck. So it's no deception or confusion about who he with or who she with. That's your brother's vehicle. She getting in and out of it. Y'all walk into the store at the same time. See, God pushes us sometimes into situations so that we can help out. He uses us as blessings too. People can come in as blessings. Sure can. Sure can. So I feel like he was testing you. You know, at that point in time, here's a girl you could save. You want to save her? Because you can. And you can't feel powerless in that situation. It's too much that you could have done. Way too much that you could have done. At least contacted the family. If he, he said, "Oh, this is my girl niece," or something like that. Okay, where your girl? Call your girl. What's your girl number? Real quick. I mean, because you know what he's capable of. You know what he has done. So if you're not going to call and verify the story to make sure that he's telling the truth about this situation, and even if he is, why are you with her? Sometimes things that look a way that something looks, it is. So if it's weird that he's with this little girl, why would you not assume that it's weird? That means that things are going on here that shouldn't be. Things are happening here that shouldn't. So this isn't, it don't look like, no, it is. This is wrong. It don't feel wrong. It is wrong. So do something. And I think this is another reason it's hard for her to speak, and why this is really hard for her, because she didn't do nothing. When if she didn't know her brother was capable of any of that stuff, he didn't have the record that he has and whatnot, then okay. Okay, maybe he was just hanging with, letting the little niece hang out, give her something to do. Maybe she liked being there or something. She'd be bored at home. Just want to go up there and hang out. Maybe. But knowing his background, you know that there's something sinister behind this. You know it is. So then do something about it. And then here's another thing. He's had to register 3 times for 3 different crimes. How is he out in the open with kids? How? How is he out in the open with people and then multiple kids at that? Multiple. Just la. Like, what the f is going on in Detroit? What that word? He ain't supposed to be seen near a kid. And then y'all give it the day he took her life, y'all gave him an extension on a GUN charge. But everybody want to overlook the system failing her. No. Let's look right at it. Yeah, the aunt failed her, the grandma failed her, but the system did too. Because he is not supposed to be near children. He gave a 4-year-old an STD. How in the f is he even near a child? And the crazy part about it is, y'all, it's multiple kids. He dating people still with kids. All of that, like, what the f? And everybody just sits idly by. Idly by. No one does nothing. He's sleeping with her in front of other minors. And all of that, like, all of this is happening in this household. And y'all allowed it. You allowed it. Okay? There's multiple people that could, even the sister, she failed her that day. You saw her. You know what your brother do. This is why you're testifying. A guilty conscience. Because you know what he's capable of. You knew what you saw was wrong, and you did nothing about it. So you want to try to do something now. It's like the least you could do. It's like the least you could do. So you may not have thought your brother was going to take her life, but you knew that your brother was going to violate her. You knew he was. You knew it, because that's what he does. He's been charged with it multiple times. I get one time and never do it again, but you keep doing it, and you done got caught multiple times. You don't have to register on many different levels. Like, you went from this level, Pedialyte, to this level, to that. Like, it just get worse and worse. If people would have stopped him in his tracks, he would not have taken her life. Nobody stopped him. No one. Because that's the little black girl. That's the little black girl. This is why this got this far. This is why he done this to multiple children. Black. Yeah. They're all black. This is why it goes on for so long. And I can't blame just the system. I have to blame our society too, our communities too. These conversations are important. It's children in your household and stuff right now that things are happening to. Okay, they need y'all. Stop being quiet about it. Have these conversations at home. Talk to them or you will never know. Or then when you do find out, it's like this. Because they're not coming back home no more. Like, our communities make it so that these things, we help these abusers. We're helping them by doing and saying nothing. Because we're not literally seeing it with our own eyes, we put it past them. We give them the benefit of the doubt. Why? Why? No, talk. Ask questions. I've asked my kids these questions just cause. Not because somebody said something was happening, or because this person, no. Just because you never know. A Pedialyte, a predator, they don't have a face. They could be anybody. They could be anyone. The audacity to look at somebody because they're grungy and all of that and unkempt and whatnot, be like, oh yeah, I ain't leaving them around my kids. But then you'll leave somebody clean cut, neat, and they capable, because that's a human experience. That's a human thing. It don't have, you really can't identify it unless you know something prior. Other than that, you kind of just got to wait around and see. So it's like, this is insane. Say something. I still have the conversation with my kids. I'm going to continue to, because you just never know. And just because I asked my kid in 2007 if certain things happened and they said no, maybe they weren't comfortable enough to say something then. So then I'm going to ask them again in 2009. And I'm going to ask them again in 2011. And I'm going to ask them again. I'm going to keep on doing it until they either comfortable enough to tell me what happened to them, or it just simply nothing happened good. At least I'm checking in. At least you know that you could come and say something to me. If something do happen or somebody do try something, they're going to come and talk to me because they know it's okay. Because we've had these conversations before. So, and I've always told my kids from the time they were babies, nobody touches your body. This is your temple, okay? Not even the doctor, we ain't present. If your parents have, no, not even the doctor. Nobody, so then they have that in their mind. Nobody is supposed to touch me. None of my parts, your top, your bottom, your back, nothing. You don't sit on no laps, you don't kiss, you don't hold hands, you don't do none of that. Okay, anybody ever talk, especially related to us, family, for anybody, you come and tell me immediately. Okay, because I tell my kids all the time, I will die for you. So you don't ever have to be afraid of anyone out here, because I will die for you. Okay, so that's what your predator needs to be scared of. Not you telling. Not you telling. No. Yeah, they need to be scared of what I'm going to do. Because I'll do anything for you. Yeah, I sure will. I will die for you. They need to know that. Because then how somebody else going to scare them when it's like, my dad will literally jump in front of a bus, plane, bullet, missile. He'll do all that for me. He sure will. So I'm not worried about what you would do. You need to be worried about what my dad going to do. You need to be worried about what that 6'4" of greatness is going to do. That's what you need to be worried about. Don't worry about me. You worry about him. Because he'll go over and beyond for me. He sure will. He will go to prison for the rest of his life for me. He said he'll do the death penalty, all of that for me. So, yeah. So if they feel that, they know that, then they're going to be more prone to come and tell you. But if you're not having these conversations, they don't know. So if the conversations were being had with Naziah since she was a child, the no-no spots and no-no zones and nobody does this to you, so you come and tell me immediately. Because as parents, we can't be everywhere. And unfortunately, we have to trust others to look after our children. So we are not bad people for trusting people that are supposed to love our children as much as they love us. And unfortunately, sometimes family do hurt family. They do things to family. They do. This happens. It's unfortunate, but it has to be stopped. It has to. And that's how you do it, by communication. You have to communicate these things. Because if you don't, how will they know? So when this man started touching on Naziah and doing things to her, nobody told her that he couldn't. So why was she think in her mind that what's going on is wrong? No, she's a child. So it's going to be natural. We base things off of experience. So if her experience was this man taking advantage of her sexually, she's not looking at him taking advantage of her because she don't know nothing about it. She see boy, girl, she see men and women being in relationships and stuff like that, whether on TV, TikTok, whatever. And what, so she thinks that this is how it's supposed to be. She don't know anything else. So how can she stop this man from doing something to her that she doesn't feel is wrong? Because he has groomed her into believing that it is right. He has groomed her into believing that she is in love. Groomed her into believing that he is her man and will protect her. Now, this is a child. Okay? No father, no mother. She looked to him for everything. Everything. He was her first everything. So what does she do with that? Now you have someone trying to come to her and tell her that this is wrong. Well, what in her would feel that this is wrong when it feels so right? To her, this is fine. I love him. She's not a process the thoughts of this man is with her aunt and stuff like that. Like none of that stuff is crossing her mind. No. Her attention span is too short. Yeah. It's too short to process these things. She has no idea what she's doing. She's just going with the flow. Going with the flow. She around this person that keeps making her feel that he loves her and cares about her. Nobody else is spending this time with her. The grandmother and them keep sending her with him. Yep, go ahead, go into the shop with him, blah, blah, blah. So she's spending the majority of her time. He's not just hanging out with her, he's raising her. Raising her. But look at the values that he's instilling in her. Look at the treatment that he gave her. Those text messages show she was in love with him. She loved him. All her heart. She didn't see nobody but him. Concerned about losing him. Concerned about him not wanting her. All of that. I feel like making her conflicted. You know, at one point, she would, you know, want to have the baby. And then at the next moment, she wouldn't. I feel like when she wouldn't want to have the baby, it's because, you know, he would make her feel like he didn't want it. So I feel like she would go back and forth. You know, one moment she'll want the baby, and then, you know, he'll start ignoring her and whatnot. And she feels like, oh, well, maybe he's ignoring me because I want to have this baby. You know, so maybe if I say I don't want it, then maybe he'll contact me. Or maybe if I talk about the baby, he'll contact me. She was just doing what she needed to do to contact the person that she loves. While he out here sleeping with all of these other women, bringing them to hotels, sleeping with other people's kids and stuff too. You know, he's just out here just a hellion. Just destroying lives. And hers was one of them. So it's very unfortunate. It's a very sad situation. And it needs to be discussed more so that we can prevent it. We need to have these conversations. You ain't had these conversations with your kids. When they come home today from school, talk to them. Talk to them. Do it individually. Keep it light. You know, that's what I did. I always kept it light. You know, made them feel like it's okay. You know, like because you don't want them to feel judged if they are going to tell you that something happened to them. So you want them to know that it's an open floor. You know, if something happened to you, it is okay to tell me. I promise you are not in trouble. Nothing is going to happen to you. You're going to be fine. It is okay to tell me you didn't do anything wrong. Okay? Nothing. None of this is your fault. If anything happened to you, no, it's not because of you. You have no blame to take. You know, there's nothing to be embarrassed about, ashamed of. You know, you speak to them. Let them know all the stuff that they're probably feeling on the inside. Let them know. And then they will open up. Even if they don't do it that day, you keep revisiting. that conversation, eventually they will. Eventually they will. That they will open up to you because they know that they can. A lot of children, because certain conversations wasn't had, they don't even know how to form the words, to say it because they have no structure in that realm. Like they don't know. Like, well, where do I start? Like, I mean, and they'd be so embarrassed and ashamed and scared, that they have no idea. Like, no idea how to even put it in words that you would understand and what happened to them. It's a lot of, they feel dirty. It's like only you know you're dirty. As a victim, you're dirty. Nobody else sees your dirt. Nobody else sees that you need to bathe. But you do. That's kind of like how it feels. You feel nasty. You don't. But you internalize it and then you blame yourself because you can't blame the person that needs to be blamed. You can't vocalize, and pinpoint the person that deserves this energy. So you blame yourself and you take it out on yourself and you beat up yourself because who else are you supposed to do it to? And it can feel very lonely. And when you are struggling with this and you have nobody to talk about it. And what in most cases, victims, when they do open up, is way later on in life. Like when they meet a wife or a husband or a girlfriend or boyfriend, or a best friend, like down the line, and then they'll finally, like open up about it. And it shouldn't take all of that. It shouldn't. Most victims are ready to speak. They just don't know that they can. Most victims are. They're ready to talk. They are. They just need the podium from the proper people. And then a lot of times when it's like in the family, it's hard to say something because you are destroying the family. It feels like, now all the family ain't gonna like you. Stuff, they're gonna be arguing, hooping and hollering, and and all of that, and now our family functions are gonna be different. Everybody gonna look at me as like the wounded person. Like every time they see me, they're gonna be, oh, like that. Like not everybody wants that type of attention. Not everybody wants to, like, oh, I heard what happened. I heard. It's like you don't want to talk about it at all. A lot of times, and when you do talk about it, it's people you trust. Just because they're your family don't mean you trust them. And if you were betrayed by the family, why would you want to open up to them? It's like, yeah, you may not have been the person that did it to me, but I mean, it was a family member, that did it. So it caused a distrust within the family. So it's hard, that's why I said I think Naziah really didn't have, not at that point in time, had any desire to say what was going on. I really don't feel like she had any desire to say what he was doing to her, because this is her aunt's boyfriend. I do think that she realized that there would be issues, like in the home. And sometimes when you think you're being slick, you're not. You're not. Intuition is very strong. It's very strong. So if something is going on that you should know, those sensors are going to start flickering, okay? And then you're going to start to pinpoint where the problem is. And then when you see where the problem is, it's up to you where it goes from there. So the aunt, the grandmother, all of them knew what was going on with Naziah. They knew. They knew. They did nothing for many reasons. I mean, they would have to tell you why. They have no need to intervene. I can't speak for them. But yeah, I mean, they knew. They did. And I don't think Naziah wanted to mess up where she was living, and stuff like that. She doesn't have a mother or father looking out for her. It was pretty much just, her with the family that would be bothered with her. So there's many factors to why I don't think she would have said anything. I just don't feel that way. So yeah, so I'm going to let this go right here. Thank you all for all the super stickers and the chats and liking the video. This has been very heavy. Sorry for anybody that was triggered throughout these conversations, but they need to be had. I know sometimes when people hear these conversations, they just like want to put their hands over their ears just because it's either reminding you of things that happened to you or, hell, some of you people have done it yourselves, did this to people, have hurt people and don't want to hear it because it makes you feel bad because you know that you're a bad person. But then for the victims that hear this again, I'm sorry, but at the same time, this is necessary. Like, these conversations need to be had, 100%. These type of conversations can save lives. You know, there are many people that end their lives because they can't deal with things that have happened to them. And they don't feel like they can go on. And they don't feel like anybody understands them. And they don't feel like anybody hears them. So I want to shout out all of you in the comments for being here and listening. And also, backing Naziah and loving on Naziah. And yeah, I really appreciate that. And letting victims know that it is okay, that they are loved, that it's not their fault. I really appreciate that, because it's necessary when victims look back or watch this live or we watch it, they see all comments, and whatnot. And yeah, so I really appreciate that. So hi Cammy Boo. So yeah, it's been very heavy, very, very, very heavy. So I love you guys. I will see y'all in the next live. We will be talking more about this. I will keep y'all updated on what's going on now that the trial has started. This will be something that we will be involving in our content right now. The story, very so much hit home. For me, it's a very sad story, and just want to help in any way that I can. So I will be doing that. So shout out to Naziah family, except her aunt and her grandmama, y'all. But shout out to everybody else in her family. Okay, I know this is a very hard time for y'all, and I hope y'all get I hope they get her body. She deserves to have a proper funeral and be laid to rest the correct way instead of being laid to rest to hide the truth. And that's why he won't stay where she is, because he's trying to hide the truth. So I love you all, and I will see y'all on the next time. Until then, bye.